Wow, 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 wow. Bow, dow, bow, 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 bow. When you hear the call to perfection, answer the sounds of the phone. You never know what's under the ground, so get out your phone. And if you have a problem to solve, call Bert Gummer, he'll handle it all. He got tied with his engine hands. Rosalita, she's got the skills, yeah. Jody sells you the odds and the ends. Bert will give you a gun in the end. We are murder hoboing because we are libertarians. Yeah, we are the bad guys because we're all the tremors, because we're talking the tremors, talking the tremors, talking the tremors, talking the tremors, best friends. Hey, hello, everyone, and welcome to soon-to-be world-famous Talking Tremors podcast. I am your dungeon master for the evening, Levi Dylan Burzloff-Lutt. That little ditty was taken from the television show, Critically Stupid! Dungeons and Dipshits, go check them out on YouTube. Some of my favorite people with Alexander James and Diana and Gareth and Apollo and Katie and Jess and Stevie Wildcard and Sean and Dina and Daniel, and I feel like I'm like forgetting someone. Maybe Anthony. I don't know. Who's Anthony Lafusi? What's We Have Issues? I don't know. What's that? But anyway, welcome to Talking Tremors. I am your host. It's there on the bottom of the screen, or if you're listening on audio ventures, Levi Dylan Burzloff-Lutt. And no, I'm not going to spell that for you unless you come into the YouTube comments and you tell me to spell it for you. But if you're in the YouTube comments, you can probably tell what it is. Like this person here, Chris Andrew Androw, which I can never get right. Like, hey, welcome back, singing a song. And Chris will know this. This is a special shirt that I wore just for Chris and Colin. The Horrific Podcast. Can I turn around? I can't tell if I turn. Hold on. Can you see it when I turn around? Maybe I can't because I'm looking. Keep it creepy. Keep it horrific. Do the typey clicky things. All that jazz. Those guys have been absolutely wonderful, and I had to get their shirts. I always love getting shirts because these things end up being limited edition in the end because nobody ever like has a shirt for that long. But yeah, Colin and Chris of the Horrific Podcast. That's another podcast to go check out. Give me 1 second here. I got to pull up the TikTok, even though I hate the TikTok, but they like to join in too. But I needed to listen to the song, so I had it exactly right. Even though I had been listening to it all week, I'm on episode 33 of Critically Stupid. And if you like Dungeons and Dragons podcasts at all, please check them out. Like, they're a hoot, a hilarious time. It is just as much bullshitting around as this show is, which, I mean, is a lot when you think about how much this show is just bullshitting around. And there's information in this show. I'm not one to not give you information in the show. In fact, my fetish is information. I love information. I'm a dirty, filthy, rotten whore for information, to the point where I have some really juicy things to talk about, but also not talk about it at the same time. So please forgive me during this whole episode. So yeah, I did tell a friend of mine who's an avid listener of the show that I was going to talk about this first of all. And hold on. I want to do the thanks, but thank you too, Chris. Love you and Colin. You are going to be a whole segment here coming up in a little bit because it is a Horrific Podcast. They did a great job. But I wanted to do since this is, dude, where's my critical need to know information? I've been having a conversation recently with William Cody, who is an avid listener of the show, always popping in. The only person that I know of. Wow. Oh my God. I will pop that up in a second, Chris. William Cody, who's the only person I know of that has actually listened to the show from the beginning. And I will, I got to, because it's such a good comment. I got to do it right now, Chris. Critically Stupid is a great podcast, but I'm still mad at them for stealing the title of my future autobiography. Ha 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 ha. It's okay. Like, you can't have Talking Tremors either. You would not believe how many other people had the idea to name Talking Tremor, have a Talking Tremors podcast after I started my Talking Tremors podcast. And I'll even tell them that. I'm like, hey, you want to come on my Talking Tremors podcast? And they just like ignore me. I'm always like, really, man? Like, come on. You obviously wanted to talk Tremors. Let's talk Tremors together. It seems like a no-brainer here. Anyway, been having a conversation with my friend William Cody, who they have a sister who's transitioning to brother, and they were wondering how to go about pronoun usage. And they asked me, because I am obviously transgender in my own ways, and I wanted to specifically take like the first 5 minutes of this show to talk about that, because I never do. I never really bring it up because it's not anything that I feel is necessary unless the topic of conversation goes to that. But it's really stupid and simple, and I just wanted to like talk about it. So if someone's pronouns want to be whatever they are, this is so dead simple. You're gonna fuck it up. I'm trans, and I still fuck up other people's pronouns. That's where I like. I always go with it. Just assume everyone's a they, them, theirs. It's been around for 1,000 years. Probably not, but it's been around longer than he and she. So just call everybody they and them. However, if you're trying to get people's pronouns and you're not doing it right, just try and fail and stutter and step. I have friends and family that like will fuck it up around me because my preferred pronouns are she and they. But it's never like I never force it on people unless someone is like, oh hey, make sure you keep me on it, and then I'm like, okay, I will. And it's not great. It's so endearing to hear someone being like, oh, Levi did that. He, her, them, like, and like stopping in the moment and twisting it around. It's one of those things that it's maybe means nothing to you in the moment. However, to them, it means absolutely everything to hear being called how they want to be called. I always position it where it's like, it's not like you want to be called fat all the time, or lazy or stupid. It's like, that's the, hey, William the stupid over there. Like, it's just one of those things. If you can respect someone's pronouns and you want to, that's always my thing. If you want to and you're into that, that's the best way to do it. Just fuck it up. Just seriously, you're gonna fuck it up, but then switch it around. Hey, I hate hers. I mean hims. Just play with it. You'll get it right eventually, and then eventually it'll come naturally to you. But that was my PSA. Like, that was my, and someone over here on TikTok wants to be a jerk by now, but like but if they buy 2 tickets when flying a plane, no, because like you use they and them all the time and you don't even realize it. So like, why does it matter to like be an asshole like right there and be like, oh, but do you gotta buy the 2 tickets? Are you gonna buy the 2 tickets because you're fat too? And now someone's sirring me in the chat. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, TikTok person. You know what you're doing? Like, and I love this when people are trying to be assholes. All you're doing is bumping up that TikTok video in the algorithm. So I thank you for misgendering me all the time. I really appreciate it. Keep commenting how much of a douchebag you are. Awesome. And yeah, I answered the question legitly, walrus person. But yeah, Talking Tremors is so much better than Graboid Gab. I'll pull that one up too, Chris, because that's a good one. I mean, it's okay. I don't know, graboid gabbing. I'd call it graboid gabbing because you got to have the verbiage of it, the adverb of the whole thing. But there was another one I had. Oh, that was not even my rival podcast. It's the People That Hate Me podcasting to perfection. Perfection's podcast, Perfection's premier podcast. I love alliteration, so and TikTok people, I am talking to YouTube. That's where the real conversation happens, is on the YouTube. So like, go there, bro, if you want to check it out. And on another note, I am personally happy. Like, I know it looks like this is still like trash back here, especially if you're on TikTok, like this over here. My laundry is not done. However, everything on this side of the screen, I organized. Like, I organized everything over here. So now I can like I can put my well, I don't know why I never keep my water up there, but I have all the books organized over here, so I can grab them when you want to, like, Jonathan Melville's Highlander book. Boom, it's right there. It's ready to go. There's Seeking Perfection. I got Terror Below set up right here. But like, I can literally just grab this stuff now. It's so dumb and stupid. But like, it's like I cleaned everything, like, to the point. And now I'm like talking and making a mess. But now my Critically Stupid shirt's over here. Ooh, I should put like, ooh, I got it. I bet, hold on. I'm going to put the Critically Stupid shirt right here so everyone can see it. Can you see it? Had to see it? I don't know. I put the We Have Issues shirt over here too. So, yeah, you can kind of see it, sort of. But much like my brain, this is all very cluttered around here, and I love this. Like, this is like, everybody has like, I watch podcasts all the time. Like, Colin's got a great background of like very organized like shelves of like DVDs and horror memorabilia and shit like that. And then I'm like, wow, holy fucking shit, man! Look at everything over here, and it's wild and crazy, and I love it. I'm about to like, oh my god, you know what? Thank you, very assholey person here on TikTok. You are just like upping people coming to watch the stream of a transgendered person. You don't even realize. Thank you so much. And Chris, I love you, Levi, whatever pronoun you want to use. You're a great person, and that's what's important. I would agree with that's my overriding philosophy. To where I'll talk about it later here, but I have been emailing and calling people for TremorsFest, and it's one of those things where it's like, I always think about it in the back of the mind where it's like, I'm going to meet you eventually, and what are you going to think about me? However, who I am is the thing that I'm leading with forward. Like, that's the most important thing, is how I interact with you, how you interact with me, who we are as people. And if I try my best, I feel like that's the most important thing of all, who I am. Like, this is important for like me and Caitlin when we're in the bedroom, winky winky, but not really. Like, that's how I feel better every day. But that stuff, who you are, that's beautiful to live in the moment. And again, TikTok person, they is not only plural. God, it's so stupid. I'm about to just ignore it in a minute, but it's just you don't see it over here, but if you go to the TikTok, it's just a feed of hate, just a feed of hate. That is why I speak to the YouTube people, and you guys suck. Like, if you want to be a better person, come to YouTube and put your comments on the YouTube channel. Like, that way you can be a real person instead of like hiding your comments forever. That's the, whatever, like, great person conversation, pronouns and all that jazz. That right there is enough to point out that, like, if you don't have the cojones to like actually put your stuff somewhere that everybody gets to see it forever, then you're still a little bitch. Out and say it louder for the people in the back. Yeah, TikTok, YouTube, that thing that was around far before you were. So anyway, if you got trans people in your life, just be nice to them and use their pronouns however they ask you to use them, and care about them. And remember, you're gonna fuck it up. You are so gonna fuck it up. But you keep trying. I don't know. That's every day. That's not even about trans people and pronouns. That's just life. You're always gonna fuck it up. But what do you do tomorrow? What do you do the next day? That's the winner. To that point, I have a sad bit of news that I wanted to start off with, and I wanted to do a short little rest in peace to a friend of the channel, a friend of Talking Tremors, of me, of the Tremor Saga, of everybody who's Tremors, is that John Daniels, who is a moderator for the Tremor Saga group, has passed away. And I have actually talked about John before on the podcast. And it's sorry, give me a moment. It's one of those things where he has been dealing with a brain tumor for about the last 2 or 3 years, and it finally caught up to him. He's been in the chat. He's someone that I wish that we had talked about it too once he was feeling better. That I would have loved to have gotten him on the show, but obviously brain tumor got in the way. But John Daniels, moderator for Tremors, has passed, leaving behind a wife and 2 kids, and it's really. I was actually talking to his wife Ashley, and it was really kind of sad where her son doesn't quite understand where their dad is yet. He's autistic, so he just doesn't know. They haven't got to that. She's tried telling him, but she hasn't got to that point yet. It's just something kind of real and sad, and this show is all about trying to be very real with things. So I wanted to we haven't talked about Tremors yet, not really, but we'll get there. Like I said, I have some big things later, but I really wanted to stress the importance of giving a shit about people while they're alive, because we all go eventually, and nobody knows when that ticket's pulled. And just try to put the best you out there that you possibly can. So John Daniels, Ashley Daniels, I need to figure out his kids' names too. Wherever you are, all my love to you. You know, I'm not much of a religious person or heaven and hell, but just wish the best for your family in this life and whatever they're doing. It's yeah. Now I'm just Chris is saying there are no words. My sincere condolences. My heart is breaking for that family. And John was only, I looked up his obit, was only like 38, no, because he wasn't even 40, like 38, 39 maybe. And like, yeah, to be 38, 39 and leave behind a family that's absolutely devastating. I'm only 33, and I can't even imagine 5 years from now dying and leaving Caitlin and the boys behind. Like, I just wouldn't. It's the worst. But yeah, we had this on the other show where I was talking about Merle, where it's like I'm just gonna say his name a bunch, because like every time you say like someone's name, they last a little longer. You die twice, once when you die, and the second time when your name is said for the last time ever. And John Daniels, we will not forget you on Talking Tremors. Movie Freak on TikTok, at Movie Freak 66, I think, on TikTok. Thank you, man, wherever you're at, so much. Just appreciated the hell out of you, dude. And the only thing I can ever say with that is, like, especially with the brain tumor, is like, I'm glad you're not suffering anymore. Because when he was last texting, you could tell like that speech was difficult. Like, and it's always one of those things that hurts because you can see the decline. But yeah, John Daniels. And if I can, I've been talking to Ashley, and I don't know if they have like a GoFundMe or anything like that set up yet. But if they do, I want to try to put it out there on the group channels for the Tremor Saga people and for wherever they're at. Because everybody agrees that it's just one of those things like, hey, we support people in their time of needs and griefs. And that's super duper easy thing to do. So if I can end up getting something like that, I will make sure everybody on this podcast knows about John Daniels and Ashley Daniels. Thank you guys so much. It's I need to drink some water because it's just, like I said, I can't. I think Chris, you're like 40-ish, so it'd be like, you dying and leaving your wife and kids behind. You don't want to imagine it. It's just, that's, ugh. Or if Anthony or Stevie died and left behind Tina and Atlas and Cambria and Chase, like, it just, or Dina leaving behind Zebra, or, well, she's only 25. So well, that's still just as bad. Or Sean and Daniel leaving behind their kids. I can't. I just it makes me want to do more. I guess is my best. I don't want to spin it because it's not something to be spin. Everybody's dying. Somebody just died right now, and then another person just died. We should look that abyss in the eye. However, for me, it's like, hey, what do we do with that information? What do we do with that knowledge, and how do we move forward and honor these people in this life? Because and then Chris even says, the thought of leaving the kids behind is the hardest part. Not being there for them, it's so unfair. Like I can't even imagine, because it's hard to explain. Like they grow up and they're going to live the rest of their lives and never know their father. And I just, so on a happy note, that sadness fucking made these transphobes fuck off. Christ. Like seriously, talk about something. They just shut up. They all just shut the fuck up. Like holy shit, willing to just bash me to fucking kingdom come for being transgendered. But the moment we talk about a serious issue, well, that's serious too. Like a serious issue, like a brain tumor. No, we just leave. That's what I thought. You little bitches. You little fucking tiny penised people. So yeah, John Daniels, wherever you're at, all my love to you, buddy. Love to you too, Ashley. I will make sure that John gets a good credit at the end of the next Tremors movie. A good for John, like I did for Fred and for Bob Wilson. So and I had to go from the top on that. We'll try to go up from here. So anyway, we'll get into this later, but I have had an interesting fucking month. All right, planning Tremors Fest. You would not believe the shit I have fucking seen. Like holy hell. To the point, and I'll actually do a jump back here. So some of my favorite dudes, the Horrific Podcast, Colin and Chris. These guys have been going through the entire Tremor series for like back in December. It was before December. Because I remember working on a House of DeWitt in December. So then it would have been, that was before then. So like October. They've been going through all of the Tremors movies and then the TV show since October. And they just ended it. Was it last week, Chris, or was it the week before last? I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was, because that's when I ordered this and it showed up. And I gotta say, I have absolutely fallen in love with you two guys. I know Chris is in the chat, so I'll like you and Colin, just absolutely smitten with. Like just watching your journey and feeling your pain has been some of the best visceral, or living vicariously through you, is because I've already been through, watched it years and years ago, but watching you watch it all again has been hilarious, to the point where I do got to call out. So this was really great. On the last episode, Chris has these things called Chris's Crazy Theories, and that is an impression. So olive number one, I didn't buy more olives, so I might run out. Your goal is to make me run out, people. But I do have jalapenos, and the pickles are frozen because they were at the top of the fridge, but they're there. Chris has this thing called Chris's Crazy Theories. And you want to know what's crazy about them? So most of them aren't crazy. Like 75% of them are actually pretty like, okay. And it's Chris just like coming up with ideas while watching the movies and TV shows and being like, what if this? What if that? It's a theory. I don't have to fucking explain a theory to you, right? I mean, I can. That might take a lot longer than you think. It's probably harder to explain what a theory is than it is to explain they, them pronouns. But Chris has these crazy theories, and I really got to get that list out of every single one because they're so good. But on the last episode, Chris had this theory that because Twitchell, W.D. Twitchell, played by Dean Norris, never has like any official, like, he doesn't, what was it? It was, there's no, like, federal plates on his car. There was one you were talking about. He's got a whole bunch of papers in the back of his seat that don't seem like anything like official. He kind of comes in and out. He never seems to be reporting to anybody. All of this stuff that he's supposed to be like a federal, he works for the Department of the Interior. That's his job. However, you don't like get any sense that he actually does. You don't ever see any like official interactions with that. And Chris came up with a theory that, like, what if Twitchell is working, whether he knows it or not, for the Proudfoot Corporation and the Proudfoot Labs and the Trilateral Corporation, because those are the two in the show. And it was like, okay, look, fucker, this is even better than your theory that Hiram Gummer's dad fucking had voodoo magic witch talks and then told his son to like go to perfection and bought this silver mine to teach him how to become a man, which is my fucking favorite theory. But this theory that Twitchell is like a government, not a government agent, but like an espionage agent for this nefarious. I always call it corpo government. Is my definition of what that is. And fucking Chris bought a cameo from Dean Norris to specifically talk about that theory. And I'll even do it because I'll eat an olive in preparation because y'all are gonna love this from me. Okay. Hey guys, it's Dean Norris here, W.D. Twitchell. The old Tremors. You know, not a lot of people ask me about Tremors theories. Yeah, that was a real good show. Really underrated. I had a great time on that show. And yeah, calling you guys here on the Horrific Podcast. And you know, Chris has a theory here. Chris's crazy theory about old W.D. Twitchell working for the Proudfoot Corporation. And well, I'm here to tell you, you're right. Goddamn right. And it was so good. And I know in a cameo they always like you pay them to like you give them an idea of what to say or whatever and they say it, but it was still like it was Dean Norris being like, yeah, oh my god, I love fucking Tremors the series and nobody asked me about Tremors the series, so like, yes, fuck yeah, man. And then him being the extra like, yeah, W.D. Twitchell totally is the bad guy. It's a thing, man. And God, that made my ever-loving everything. To the point, Chris, which I'll get to, is that I actually did message Dean, and I did tell him about that, and he's actually really interested in TremorsFest because of you. So, like, if I get Dean Norris at TremorsFest, it'll be because of Chris and Drew. Bow, chicka, bow, motherfucker. I hope you're here and you listen to all of that, Chris, because I was super duper proud of you for fucking going through all that. But the Horrific guys have been doing, like I said, they've been doing all 7 movies. Well, not they've done 7 movies and they've done 13 episodes of the TV show. And it's been really interesting to hear Colin and Chris discover exactly what I fucking know already. And I don't even have to feed it to them. It's just like, yeah, you just like watch it and then you end up being like, what the fuck happened here? Why did this happen? This doesn't seem right. We went from Tremors 4, which I thought was going to be shit, and what's 1, 2, 3, and these were all great. And then this 5 thing happened, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then 6 happened, and I was like, oh no. And then 7 happened, and I hate everything. And then now we've gone back, and we watched all 13 episodes of Tremors the series, and it's like, why the fuck didn't they just keep doing this? This is like a perfect template for everything. What the fuck? Where are Tyler? Where are Rosalita? Where's Jody? Where's anybody? Jody Chang would never give up her fucking convenience, never give up Chang's Market. This is insane. Where's Twitchell? All of these people. I would rather have Tyler Reed be Burt Gummer's son, and then fucking Jamie Kennedy, and this is all them. Like I'm not even impersonating. This is my paraphrasing of the last 6 months of these guys discovering Tremors, and it's just so good. Like, oh, I can't even like, and it's not like, oh, I like people agreeing with me. It's like, oh yeah, we're thinking the same. It's more like, wow. I mean, you guys see it too. That kind of makes me more upset. Also, I mean, it's glad to know that you know that it's there and that it's real and that I didn't have to feed it to you. Hey, William, I was talking about you earlier. But like, oh yeah, hold on. This is sus. Because it was funny too, because like Colin Chris watched all the 7 movies. And then I was like, no, you got to watch the TV show. Like, listen, if you didn't stop at 3 and watch the TV, you got to go back and watch it, because the TV show is like one of my favorite parts of the whole saga. Like 4 is my favorite movie, and then the TV show is underneath it, and then Tremors 2, and then Tremors 1. My listing is strange, but it's mine. But the TV show is fucking fantastic. And I had told them beforehand, I was like, look, you're going to watch the TV show and it's going to piss you off. Not because like it's bad, but because it's really good. And you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? This is all right here. What, who takes a perfect template for something and goes like, man, fuck it. We don't need that. Oh no, you're fine. I did a whole special preamble for just you, William. You'll really appreciate it. So thank you for like being my super duper only listener, the only person who's ever listened to every episode of this show. I really appreciate it. And Chris and Colin, like, I was like, yeah, no, you're gonna be so pissed when you watch Tremors the series, because you're gonna, what is this? What's going on here? And then like watching 6, where the whole town gets bulldozed and none of that ends up existing, and you're like, where are all these people that like made this world and made it possible? And you're like, they fucking, who gives a shit? They're gone now. And they did exactly that. And I kind of like feel bad. Like I do. Well, it's not my. I don't know why. Why the fuck do I feel bad? It's not my fault. I didn't do this. If I had been anywhere near this, these decisions would not have happened. People, I would have fucking stepped in sooner than that shit. Fuck no. Like, as much as I love you, Don Michael Paul, I would have been like, bro, no, we're not doing that. And it was like, and they did like. And Colin even said, it's like, Levi told that I gotta do the Irish. Us Irish is Irish. Here's a bit of ire here, up in here, and the fucking thing, and it fucking came at us and tried it, and it's fucking shit. It's shit, dog shit. And here it is, and Levi told us, like, this is really bad. What am I doing here? We're just gonna. We're not even going to eat an olive for that, because that was a terrible impression. I can do like Scottish and English like nothing, but Irish somehow escapes me. And just like Colin was like, Levi told us that like this is going to piss us off, and it does. I am so angry right now, because this should be like easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hey, we got Chase Maddock in the room. From Tremors Hunting Ground and Tremors Shifting Sands and Tremors, I haven't come up with a name for that one yet. Just curious, was there something going? Okay, hold on. Technical thing here. I'll go back and check it out on the one I'm on right now is Don Michael Paul. Apology. I was just curious, was there something going on with the audio for it in previous episodes? I don't know. What it is that, was it right about then? It might have been then or before then that I got this new mic. My mom was listening to the show and thought my audio was shit, so she bought me a new mic. But then I've also been doing a thing where I use the old Bluebell over here as an extra recorder. So now I've got 2 recorder areas. Although I would love someone to point out technical difficulty. Is the audio like too low, too high, too middle? Can you hear it? Can you not? Let me know. Again, nobody ever fucking watches the show unless they're in a live, so I have no idea like what past episodes look like. To the point where like I am not the best podcast host. Too low. Hold on, let me look at things right now. Yeah, that might, yeah, because I was using this one up here, and this one's up here is great for when I'm doing this, but if I need to use the audio one when I do the full record, I end up using the Bluebell. I've made mistakes over the years, and I've had to figure this out. So actually, thank you for that. I will check it out, because I really don't like to mix it too much when I do it. I literally just cut the beginning and the end, and throw it up there. That's how little I care about it. That's me just like, yeah, I'm a podcaster. Look at that. I did it. I did not successfully. So yay, thank you guys. That's also where I do try to compensate in the moment for speaking a little louder into the fucking microphone. Please tell me if you hate me and if I'm fucking it up. But I appreciate that. Thank you so much, William. I actually, hold on. I need to write an actual note on that. Watch mic volume on podcast. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. And then what was I? In the end, it was just lovely to hear Colin and Chris go through the whole series and discover the same things that many of us have discovered as we go through fucking Tremors and do this. It's painful to the point where that's actually something that I'm going to talk about later once I get into things. Like I have some things to talk about. So I already, again, go check out the Horrific podcast. Go, like, you can listen to their Tremors series. Like, it's great. I was on an episode, and I need to get you two on this show. We need to reverse functions here, Chris and Colin. I have not forgotten you. Go buy Horrific merch. Keep it creepy. Keep it horrific. That was, again, why is my Irish accent shit? I don't know. We'll figure this one out, people. And go watch the whole channel. Colin's in a spree right now where he's trying to watch all of his backlog of old horror movies. So I'm really interested to see how he goes about that. But he's a really great guy. I love the people on their channel. So I love to do the typey clicky thing. And as always, keep it creepy, keep it horrific. Oh, that was better. Yeah. So thank you, Colin and Chris. And Chris is always on here. I was gonna do this earlier in the day, but I ended up having farm chores to do, and that did not work out. I will for Colin. I got to do one during the day sometime. I already talked about it earlier, but I'm gonna go back around again. Go listen to Critically Stupid podcast and buy their merch over here. This T-shirt that I'm pointing at with my finger that you can't. Well, that one too. I got two cameras, so I got to do it for both. One here, two. Boom, boom, boom. Go check out Critically Stupid with Alexander James and Diana and Gareth. And I was just going to say Mel, Jess, and there's a whole bunch of people, and Kate and Anthony, and Katie. Oh my God, I was so sad when Katie Cerulean's character went off into the Fey world, or she swam into the ocean. It made me so sad. And it's honestly, it's made me really want to play D&D again, but it's also made me a better improviser. And just hearing that yes and all the time in your head, you're like, always be yes anding. It doesn't matter what it is. Just keep fucking yes anding it. Yes and yes. Always. Love those guys. And I wanted to shout these guys out too. There will be a special moment at the end of this episode because I know producer Sean's the only one that fucking listens to this all the way through. And I always like to put it at the end so that way he can watch the rest. I have a voicemail segment. That's for Daniel, I promise. The Don't Make It Weird podcast just celebrated their 3-year anniversary. And absolutely another one that I'm absolutely in love with. Love those guys so much. And I was there for the live show for 2 hours out of 3 because I had dance class. I did cha-cha. 1, 2, 3, cha-cha. 1, 2, 3, cha-cha. 1, 2, 3. And to turn. And anyway, that was a great fucking episode with Rants and Alexander J. Honestly, Rants, I would get Rants on this show. I need to get, because Rants has talked about like knowing what tremors and a graboid is, and I would get Rants on this show in a fucking heartbeat. Which I got, and again, oh my god, because I organized. Well, hold on, where's my water there? I just need to put it on the ground because I organized stuff, so now I can just pull out the book. Well, maybe I should put these on the side. Yeah, it's fine. I think I did a good job. Rasty Denton's, his ragged company, available wherever books are fucking sold. That took me way too long for such a minimal thing. But it ended up, that was really funny. I'm waiting for them. I did leave them a voicemail message as Val and Earl. That was not, I did not record, I recorded it personally. It was not on an episode of the show. But I did leave Val and Earl, leaving them a happy 3-year anniversary, along with Bob and Linda left one too. Well, Linda did, and Bob chastised her. But it was fun. I fucking love those guys so much. And I really, Dina, Sean, Daniel, we will get you on this show eventually once I read your books. And by read your books, I mean listen to the audiobooks, because I don't read, if you couldn't tell. I mean, I love reading. I just don't read books. And I feel really bad about that. But nobody tell Dina that's how I'm going to read her book. Please and thank you. She'll fucking murder me. But yeah, horrific podcast. Love you guys so much. Before I get into my big thing that I wanted to talk about, I have to do this. I have to. And I know that you think that I don't have to, but I do have to, because it's such a topic of fucking discussion right now. And I want everyone who's listening to join in and tell me right, wrong, left, right, up, down, sideways, diagonal ways, whatever. Are Val and Earl bisexual? I've had this discussion before on the show. In fact, I had an entire episode of this show called Is Tremors Queer, where I went in depth on everybody's sexual preferences in the entire fucking saga of Tremors, focusing on Val and Earl. And there's been a recent kerbubble in the Tremor Saga Facebook group, because someone posted once, and then it started a flurry of it that like, oh yeah, Val and Earl are gay and fucking, and then fucking everybody, and it's always one of those things too, and I hate it and I love it. Like I can't, like it's more just like I wish people weren't that stupid. However, I will laugh at people when they are that stupid, because like it was one post about like and it was Ben Swart who's I got his picture back here of Val and Earl in the truck. Had a Tumblr post about they're fucking, everyone knows they're fucking. Where do you think they order their lube? Chang's is the only store in town. And that's it. Like that's it. Well, and that's exactly it. I give William that. Like that's it. William says, for me personally, no, but to each their own. That's my fucking thought on it. Where it's like, it's funny. I think it's kind of funny. Where it's just, because it's one of those things where it's like, so look, I know that like Val and Earl both ended up with Val married a good woman. Why would he want to die? And Earl ends up with a Playboy model, and it has a Playboy model on his wall. It's it's a plot point. However, that does not preclude bisexuality or closeted gay people. And it's one of those things where it's like, I personally don't subscribe to it. I'll give the bi one just a little bit of credence, because I always love Alicia. Alicia Pearson is a great fan of the show. She loves writing stories about all of them, like everybody. Like it's not like Val and Earl being gay. It is like everybody in that town is just fucking, just blah all over the place. And it's just much like when she writes stuff about like shriekers going down on women. Like I don't have to understand it to appreciate the art. It's like, okay, weird, but I love it. And the Val and Earl gay thing is like, look, I get there's enough here for me to be like plausible. However, like I know Steve and Brent enough to know, like, I doubt it. But it was not on their mind at all. That doesn't mean that like a fandom can't have fun in the moment of just imagining different scenarios. And that's where the love hate thing of like watching these idiots go off is just like, okay, so look, I hate you because you're just not allowing people to play with what are fictional characters to the point where my guiding star, my North Star when it comes to what's socially acceptable for Tremors is Matt Wilson, which is Steve S.S. Wilson's son. And I look to him all the time to be like, hey, how's this play? What are your thoughts on it? And I love his, like, they're fictional characters. Who gives a fuck? Does it change the movie? Did you get a time machine and go back and change the narrative structure of the movie? Then who fucking cares? Like, it's what they're fictional people. And it's you see this in fandoms all the time. And one that I'm always inspired by is the Mummy fandom. And I love the bisexuality of that fandom where, like, just again, that's another one where you just assume everyone's fucking. I mean, they're not, because like, what's Jonathan doing over there? Nobody wants to shag up with Jonathan. We all want to shag up with Raquel Weisz. Man, woman, in between, we all want to shag up with Raquel Weisz. Don't fucking lie to me. Brendan Fraser? Also, maybe. I looked at that fandom and I like see that all the time, and it's just like, what? It is such a drop in the bucket. Like, why does this matter? Like, at all? Like, that's always what I go back to is like, why does this matter? This like, there are people dying half a world away. Why does fucking two cowboys who, and I get it, like, they're sleeping together, they live together, they work together, they're in a tiny little town together, they do everything together. And you know what, and I have plenty of friends like that I am not sexual with my friends at all. The only person I'm ever like sexual with is Caitlin, and that's, now I'm getting too far into it, but that's the truth of it though. And it's like, that's not, we all have friends like that. Hell, Colin and Chris, those guys are buddies. I would never think that they're shagging up on the side, mainly because they live worlds away. But still, it's the same thing. Where it's like, you just don't automatically assume that unless there's maybe something there for you to be like, well, just a maybe, just a maybe. And that's one. And nobody else is in the comments. I got 5 people here. 7, including fucking TikTok, and William's the only one that said yeah to each their own. And that's how you should view it, like, at all. Like, that's like 100% who gives a fuck. Because this is where my problem ends up, like, is that people that don't like the gay are always like, oh, you're shoving it in our face and this is propaganda and projection and stop bringing your sexuality into everything. And then I look over here, and there's this post that's a tweet of the wrong goddamn Rec Room line. And then it's like, you can't tell me that he wasn't rocking a half a chub at this moment. And all of these people who are shitting on the gayness come in and laugh and have a good time about that. It's fine for Burt Gummer to have a boner in that Rec Room scene, and it's not projecting sexuality or an agenda or anything like that. You just say that Valinor might be gay, and then like blah, 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 blah. And this is my point on this. I do think that fucking Burt Gummer had a boner in that Rec Room scene. Like, he did. You can't tell, like, that I know. Like, you cannot tell me any different. Like, before him and Heather went up on the roof, they dropped down on that floor and they got one out before everything else. And like, there was some sexual attention. You don't have all of those guns and everything else, and in that moment everything's being used that you've wanted it to be used, and you feel all of this power, and you just start like and her too, she just forgive me, she just dripping wet. Those two in that room were fucking immediately after that scene. And then they're like, hey, let's like put on our clothes and go upstairs. It wasn't long. It was just like, yeah, they were banging on the grab boy. But it's because they were like, and I look at these two as like the same two sides of the same coin. Like, yes, Burt Gummer totally had a boner in the rec room scene. Yes, Val and Earl might be more than straight, and that's actually how I like to think of it. Where it's like, it's not that they're gay or bi or anything like that. Maybe the concept that they're just straight is a little straight. Like, I feel like we can that line can bend just a little bit. And they're like oh, you did. Oh my god, you did. I was defending the fuck out of you, Ben. I don't necessarily agree. However, I will defend to the death your right to think it. But like, that's just to, I'll finish it just for, I don't know how far Ben was in here, but it's just like, yeah, like Bert and Heather, like fucking wet and red, like in that rec room, is the same thing as saying that Val and Earl might not be straight. Like, these are the same fucking thing, and all of those people fucking freaking out about it is just like, I hate you. I'm gonna laugh at you. And that was what was funny, was that like I watch it. All right. It is partially my job to like watch how everybody reacts to things and see how much of anything that there is. And like, there was one post, and it was Ben's post, which was taken from Tumblr. Ben didn't even post it. The Tremor Saga took a screenshot of it and posted it. And then fucking a flurry of anger and rage erupted. And then and it's not even the gay people, because that was what's always funny about it, is that the straight people who don't give a shit always like to come in and be like, oh, I'll like join your fucking like stupid party, like fuck you guys, and like made memes about it. In the end, though, the amount of gay to Tremors meme, let's call it that, like the amount of like the Val and Earl are bisexual to just regular Tremors posts, is like huge, fucking huge. They're like, you can have 40 posts on that page and one of them be about that subject. To me, that's not shoving anything down anyone's fucking throat. It's a drop in the bucket. That's just another thing, another concept. And I always love it. Like, the more you hate on it, the more you're gonna see it. So just shut the fuck up. Like, and it'll go away. If you hate it that much, just shut up and it'll go the fuck away. But you're not, and you just fucking shit on it. And then everybody else is like, we're gonna make fun of you because that's how the internet works. Like, that's how the internet works. We've all been using the internet for like 20 years. That is how the internet works, people. Like, come the fuck on. And it just, I just have to laugh at it. Yes, and again, queer people existing isn't shoving anything down our throats. Like, it's not. It's simple existence. It's insane. And then I always have to point out, because we're on this topic of conversation, where those same people always like to over-evaluate how much Burt Gummer needs guns. And I'm just like, hey, look, I love Burt Gummer too. I think Burt Gummer is one of the greatest characters of all time. However, if you think guns are the only thing that defines Burt Gummer, you are sadly mistaken. And again, you're not, like, you can't have Michael and Brent and Steve, like these guys that made this character, all having opposite beliefs of you, and then you saying that no, that character has to be this alt-right wing super libertarian fucking I don't even know how to define it. Because honestly, like, that's what I love about Burt Gummer, is he is such a like leave me the fuck alone person. And yeah, Ben's right. Burt Gummer was a hella responsible gun user and owner. Like, he's not who we're talking about when we're saying like, hey, like, let's learn how to use guns a little bit better. Like, Burt Gummer is like we should all aspire to be like Burt Gummer, where it's like, hey man, what you're doing over there, and it goes back to this conversation what Will said, where it's like, it's not, I didn't see it, but to each their own. Are you living your life, and are you really affecting mine? Then I don't give a shit. What the fuck ever, man. Like, I don't like when people are like, Bert would vote for Trump. It's like, do you think Bert would vote for either established candidate? Like, Bert is a fucking Ron Paul supporter through and through, man. If he votes at all, but they're putting the same thing. I consider it to the same things of just like, what values are you placing on the world that this is the hill that you choose to die on is always like, that's the mind-boggling thing to me about the Val and Earl sexuality conversation is like, who are these guys to you that like it disrupts your entire worldview to suggest this? Do you maybe think that if you're putting that much stock into two fictional characters, that the concept that they might be something different than what you thought is fucking blowing your world up? You might need to take a step back and not put that much fucking stock into it anymore, man. Like, I just breathe, remember they're fictional, and then just fucking walk away, man. To the point, and then I'll end with this. Apparently, somebody made a video years back called Brokeback Tremors, and the video is unavailable on YouTube. And I'm always fucking trying. Now I'm trying to find it. I just found out about it this week because somebody said something about it in one of those threads, and I was like, oh my God, I would love to watch that because that sounds funny. Like, that's all it is to me. It's funny in the end. Like, damn. Where's that at? That sounds funny. Like, that's funny. To the point where, like, there's I'll really end with this, where it's like, it's only ever when Val and Earl's sexuality comes up that people freak out for some reason. Like, you can, like, Tyler, who cares? Rosalita, who cares? Earl and I saw one about Earl and Grady, and nobody seemed to give a shit about that one. Like, however, you suggest Val and Earl, and then it's the joke. Everyone loses their minds. And that does count. That counts as an olive for sure. Introduce a little sexuality, upset the established fandom, and everything becomes Tremors. I'm an agent of Tremors. And you know the thing about Tremors, it's fair. Like I said, who cares? Who gives a shit, man? And Ben, make movies horny again? I don't know. Listen. This is my final thought. Like, look, there has only ever been one good sex scene in the history of sex scenes in movies. One. There's only ever been one. I fucking hate them every time. It's like, I was watching a movie. Like, if I wanted to watch porn, there's the internet. Why is this like, why are you interrupting my movie with a sex scene? There's only ever been one good one. Terminator. And I'll pause for effect if anybody gets it. But that is the only sex scene in a movie I have ever been like, look, this is actually relevant to the fucking plot. This means something. This is actually, look, fucking, I hate sex scenes, but I love the sex scene in Terminator. And you know, I'll give it that James Cameron is nicely done on the whatever of it. But no, it's important to the plot, Ben. Okay, so this is like, I'll explain it. This is always it's not even a joke. It's a partial joke, but a really like a truth. And I'll see you later, Will. We'll be here for another couple hours or so. I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm going to try to. This has been my first half ramble. But Terminator, the sex scene in the movie, is what starts everything, technically, because she's creating her and Kyle are creating John Connor, who will tell Kyle to go back in time to do all of this and start the scene of the time traveling again. Like, they're making the person that makes the time travel narrative make sense. And I'm always like, this is the best fucking sex scene in any fucking movie ever. Like I said, it's a partial joke because it's not really about a sex scene. Like it's like who cares? But it's like this. Look, I don't like your sex scene better have some goddamn relevance to the plot, or I don't care. This is bullshit. To the point, what was the? Oh, we just watched one the other day. It wasn't Little Women, which I love Little Women. Fucking A, that is a great play movie. Man, these Little Women. Wow. Caitlin and I have been doing that to each other all week. Joey from Friends doing the Little Women thing. Yeah, Amy just burned Joe's manuscript. I don't know how he's ever going to forgive her. You do know that Joe is short for Josephina. Well, but then, what's she hooking up with Lori for? Oh, is this a girl-on-girl thing? Because, that was the one thing missing from The Shining. No, there's no sex scene in Little Women, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's kind of the point of the movie, that you wouldn't ever see that. But there was, I'll think of it later. It'll come back to me. Point being that, like, unless your sex scene has something to do with the plot of the movie, I don't care. Get it out of my fucking movie. I came to watch serious things like giant gorillas punch giant lizards in the face, or Deadpool and Wolverine fighting each other and then becoming friends, or a kingdom of a planet of the apes with ape people. These are serious topics, people, and get your sex scenes out of them. Joe, hey, how little are these women? Are they like scary little? I do love Joey from Friends. So that's I just had to rant about it because like I said, so stupid. I will gladly fucking call all those people stupid whenever I get the chance. Because they are, fictional fucking characters. Who cares? I always think that Bert and Heather are swingers. That's my other one too. I just had to finish that. Like I don't know. Like they pass people around. Like they're always changing out partners. That's just fun. I don't know. Who cares? Again, I'm kind of joking to just fucking feed the idiots. Cool. Wow, I've done pretty good. All right, so folks, it's the hour 2 mark. I have some. Oh my god, you would not. This is the point of this episode. Well, not. I mean, yes, it is. There's never a point to any episode, I guess, of Talking Tremors, besides for me to share information about Tremors. I felt like Zoran when I was looking in the camera on TikTok for some reason. Like you do. God damn it, Levi. I'm going to go through these olives so quick. Oh, I can't reach them. TremorsFest 2024. Who wants to talk about it? You want to talk about it? Want to talk about it? This is from TremorsFest 2023. That was when it is easier to get them out if I drink them. I'm almost to that point. TikTok user. This is from last year, and this is a bit of this year, but I'm gonna go over here just to really. Please don't consider this rubbing it in. This is me being like, I don't get to talk to anybody about this besides Caitlin and one other person. This is my notes on TremorsFest 2024. Can you read that? TremorsFest at the top? Can you read those names? See this over here? Over this is a list of names of people. People look. Oh my god, I gotta verify myself. Fuck you, TikTok. This is why YouTube is better. How's TremorsFest coming along? It's fucking chugging along. Oh my god. This is my I am so personally confused of what my life is anymore. I don't know. I don't know. Do you ever have that where you just don't know like what is going on, even though you are in full control of everything. You just don't seem to know what the fuck is going on. That's where I'm at right now. Like organizing Tremors Fest. So I'll give some background on this has been my experience so far. So last year for Tremors Fest 2023, first annual Tremors Fest, I did a little bit of trying to find people because I saw that Glenn was not doing a great job. It looked like he needed help. How about I say that? Because I'm trying to be nice to Glenn. That's been my we're gonna not roll it back. We're gonna turn it to the side. We're gonna side scroller this a little bit. I'm trying to be nice to Glenn for reasons that we'll find out. I'll give you later. Last year, I saw that Glenn was having trouble getting people to Tremors Fest, so I was like, you know what? Look, why don't I like do my fucking magic here on the side? And I did and tried to the point where I got people like Gladys Jimenez and JD Walsh and Todd Williams and Alex Gunn, who are from Tremors 7, Aaron O'Brien from the Tremors pilot, and Finn Carter was a big one. And trying to get these people hooked up with the theater. That was actually the point of this part, was that around January of last year, I literally cold called every single theater in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Like every single one. Trying to find out which one was hosting Tremors Fest, who I could talk to, what was going on, because all I had at the time was some information from Michael that the Tremors Fest was happening in Santa Fe. And I was like, well, Santa Fe is a town. There's only so many things in the town. Just find every Santa Fe theater, find every single one, and call every single one. And in the perfect irony of ironies, I had like 6 different ones. And the 6th one that I called was the one that I needed, which was the Violet Crown Theater. And I got hooked up with a woman named Victoria, her and David Gill, Victoria Webb and David Gill, who I ended up sending a bunch of names to, just like, hey, this is what I'm doing on this side. Somebody needs help. Have some help. Because that's what I think I said it at the beginning of this. I'm just an information whore. I love information, and I love other people to have information that I have. As long as they're not going to use that information against me, cool. We're great, man. That's my honesty point, where it's like you can't ever hurt somebody who's being honest about the information that they're using. And that's where when I called these things, I pretended to be Tyler Reed. This is Tyler Reed. I'm calling here about the Tremors Fest that you're going to be having soon. Would you be able to talk me through anything that you know about that? Oh, thank you very much. Which comes up later, and I'm going to call that an impression. Sure, I do need to drink this water. Oh, I'm not drinking it. I'm not. That'll be. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Cold called everybody, found it out, got my information. To the point of then Tremors Fest 2023 happened. First annual Tremors Fest. Got the only one of those people that could go with Gladys, so I was glad to get her hooked up with it. Her and Leela, actually. And Leela I had found on Instagram, but Michael had already had her information, so wasn't needed. But Gladys, they did not. And that's actually one of my proudest moments of Tremors Fest, was having Leela and Gladys meet each other for the first time in 20 years. And I have that on film, and it makes me so fucking happy. Just they're screaming. I love that. One of my, like I said, all-time favorite moments. Has nothing to do with me. Just like, oh my God, you guys are meeting each other again. And I love it so much. Talked with Glenn the whole weekend. Met this guy named Zach Wiley. We'll call it Willie. Zach. How about we just call him Zach? Who's also kind of a convention organizer himself a little bit. He's got the largest collection of Tremors memorabilia in the world. He does. I can tell you right here and now that Zach has the biggest fucking collection of Tremors memorabilia ever. And so anyway, Tremors Fest went off without a hitch. The other 2 people that I got to Tremors Fest that this one I do love taking credit for, was Zoran Gavojik and Megan. There would have been no Tremors Fest Dead Meat video if I hadn't gotten them tickets. Like, that was my personal, because Zoran's such a Twitter user that all of fucking Michael's updates are always on Facebook, so he never saw it, and I was able to knew Zoran wanted to go and got Zoran the tickets. And yeah, that's where I feel like that's the only reason I'm in that Tremors Fest video that he made, because he's like, you got me the tickets. I need to like put you in here at least. Like, yeah, I love you too, bud. So that happened. That was Tremors Fest 2023. Good times, fun times, made friends and all that jazz. Tremors Fest 2024 is happening. Exactly. Exactly. Ben, that video was the first time I learned there was a Tremors Fest last year. The marketing for Tremors Fest is shit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. As someone that tries to make it better, Michael really overdoes the Facebook aspect of it, and Instagram is shit for trying to get any kind of information out. It's just I don't like Instagram, which will come up later. And so that happened. Tremors Fest 2023. This year, hey, I didn't think we were. As far as I knew and talking to everyone, I did not think we were going to do a Tremors Fest because of the strike. But then Michael Gross was like, no, I want to do it anyways. Nah, fuck it. And as I've been finding, went off incredibly half-cocked on this idea that Tremors Fest was going to take place in July. Apparently, there was a huge festival happening at that moment, and wasn't going to work. I have to be coy because some of this is not. I made a promise that I will give information that I discovered, not information that was told to me, which will come up later at a point here. But that's because I do so much here on the side. And I'd lose track of who Levi has talked to and is doing stuff. And Tremors Fest 2024 got moved from July to October. And I actually had someone reach out to me because I had been talking to them several times, and it kind of like let me know that, hey, we're going to be, the rumblings are happening that this is going to go down. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And so then this other organizer that I had been talking to was like, hey, whoa, so I heard that Tremors Fest, just hold off on that, Chris. If Michael Gross wants something, people need to follow. Hold off on that. Like, I love the man. Hold off on that thought. And I ended up getting in contact with somebody because I had a whole bunch of people that I knew wanted to go last year. Those names that I just said, they wanted to go last year, couldn't make it. And so I was like, whoa, hey, so I have these people who want to go. What's going on here? I kind of told them that we were going to do July. Is this now? Are we going to do October? What's the change here? Ended up that like, oh, no, we are like changing it. And one of the names that I had was Finn Carter, the big one here. And this one sent off like alarm bells for everybody because nobody had Finn's contact information at all. And I just happened to get in touch with her via Twitter. And it was like, yeah, no, I got like Finn's fucking phone number. I still got Finn's phone number. Which this just blows my mind. The rest of the story as we're coming up here. And I was like, yeah, no, I've got like all these people's information. I was already doing this last year. I'm kind of doing it this year, or doing more than what I was doing last year, trying to up it a little bit. And it was like, so like, what do we need to do? And I ended up having a 4-hour conversation with a person about it, where it's like, okay, look, like, let's get on the same page about what we're doing here, because it seems like you really know your shit and you're going to keep doing it whether or not someone tells you to. It's like, you bet your fucking sweet ass I am. And it really started with Finn Carter, like the fact that I was the only one that managed to have Finn Carter's contact information, and was really trying for a while. Like, I had a week where it was like I wasn't working, like we were in between jobs, and I had a week where I just sat down and literally emailed people. Like, that's all these names. It's just emailed, email, or Facebook Messenger, or Instagram, or LinkedIn, or Twitter, or just fucking anything that I could find, just to be like, hey, there's Tremors Fest. You want to come to Tremors Fest? You want to come to blah, 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 blah. Copy paste the email Tremors Fest over and over again. Like, so much, to the point where eventually I hit I would call it a wall of like, because I got a lot of great emails out of it. Like I got people talking back and forth. Eventually hit a wall where it was like, okay, so email doesn't always work. Like, and if you have someone's phone number and you can get and talk to them via a phone number, and everybody was really trying to get me to get Finn. Like Finn was huge. Finn Carter, the lead actress in Tremors 1, who's been through some shit and nobody knows where she's at. So where's Finn? And it's like, I just don't want to bother her. I know I have her phone number. I don't look. I have a fucking podcast. I have 60 episodes of a podcast of me just talking to thin air. Guess what, people? It is fucking so hard for me to talk on the phone. To my credit, I actually did very well for what the rest of this story is. I just hate it. I hate talking on the phone. Now I'm talking about it. Now I'm just like out of. Makes me. Eventually reached a point where like we were really like they wanted to know that Finn was real. Like nobody believed me, basically. And so I was like, look, I will fucking call her. I will call Finn. Got her phone number. It's right there. I will call her. Let's see what's up. And guess what, people? I had a 2.5-hour conversation with Finn fucking Carter. Holy shit, was that awesome. I did, and we had, oh my god, we talked about some things, and that woman has been through some shit, and man, she is fucking whip cracker, and it was fun. It was actually great, and it wasn't me leading the 2.5 hours of conversation. She was leading the 2.5 hours of conversation, just letting it all out. Nobody had talked to her for like since 2019 about any of this, and she just, whew, she let loose, man. And it was fucking fantastic. And Finn, I almost sent her this tonight, but I was also like, I want to save what we talked about a lot because she came up with some bangers. But there was only one thing that, and actually she told me that I should say this because I actually brought it up where it's like, I'm always telling people on the show that they're fucking assholes for being like, oh, Finn Carter got arrested, and it's like, oh man, she doesn't look as sexy as she does when I was like masturbating to her in Tremors. And it's like, oh my god, I hate you so much. I hate all of you so fucking much. Like, you're all assholes, like objectifying people. Like, who cares? Like, that is such a, to go back to the Val and Earl sexuality conversation, it is the same people doing the same things. Like, somehow, like, you can't sexualize fictional characters, but you can totally sexualize this woman who's living a life and doing things and making mistakes and having a, like, being a human being. That's fine. We can like shit on her. That's okay. And I've talked about it before. It just made me mad. And I told her that. I was like, yeah, actually, Finn, I was because actually in the Burt Gummer Day episodes, I was just talking about it because I was talking about Finn and Charlotte and having their information. And it was just like, yeah, no, I was telling people that they can fuck off when it comes to you. And she actually ended up telling me the whole story. Oh, I don't need to write down the conversation, Chris. Like, seriously, it's all up here. I'm just choosing. There's bits and pieces that I respect her enough that I won't share. However, there's one thing that she kind of did say, like, no, you tell them this. So that whole arrest that happened with Finn Carter in 2019 is a bunch of bullshit. Okay, apparently, and this actually tracks from everything that I understand, having lived. Oh my God, Derek's here. Oh, I love you, bro. 2.5 hours, Derek. 2 hours and 24 minutes was the final time on it. Hey, Ollie. Oh my God, where have you guys been? Everybody just showed up. Yes, talk to Finn Carter for 2.5 hours. And I'm glad. Okay, all you guys here, you're going to love this. So there's the whole story that in 2019, Finn Carter got arrested stealing a car and had credit card fraud. Like, she stole a bunch of credit cards. What happened was she was homeless at the time, and somebody asked her to like do a favor for a friend. And you talk to that woman, she would do anything for anybody. So she was like, look, the other person had, I think they had kids, and she's like, look, I'm going to help you out however I can, which was moving this car across town, basically. In the process of moving the car, she gets pulled over, and they're like, hey, Finn, this car is stolen. And she's like, I had no idea. I was just trying to help somebody out here. And they're like, well, okay, we still have to take you in anyway. While they're taking her in, lo and behold, there's a bunch of credit cards in the back seat, like a bunch of like actually it was in the trunk, like a bunch of credit cards in the trunk. And they have her in booking in the cell, and they're like, well, Finn, we just found a whole bunch of credit cards. Do you know anything about that? And she's like, no, I was just moving a car for somebody. Why the fuck would I know about that? And she was in such like a bad place at the time that she was like, you know what? Look, I'm not going to fight this. I don't want to stay here in Vegas anymore. I don't care. Just like throw the book at me and we'll call it done. Like I'm over it. And actually, and this is the thing, she ended up telling me this really great story about friends and getting rehab help. And I really want to wait. I want her to tell that because it is so good. And that incident actually helped her get her life together. Like, she credits that moment as like that was her rock bottom, and everything from there, she has become such a better person. She's not there anymore, and it's not about being proud of it. She owns it. She owns it. And that was the 2.5 hour conversation with this woman. Is like, she fucking owned everything, man. She had no problem owning fucking I'm gonna keep her, because she owned it, man. She owned it. I always appreciate the honesty and humanity out of people when they do that. So, you know, everybody's bullshit about Finn Carter fucking like, she got arrested and she's ugly, blah blah blah, she can't ever be in Tremors again. Go fuck yourself, okay? Because you know what, she reads all those. That's what pissed me off, was like, she reads all those, she sees what everybody has to say about her, and it's like, no wonder you would just hide and like run away from everybody like that. I get it, man. Like, fuck a bunch of everybody. Fuck a bunch of stupid Tremors fans. Not all Tremors fans. The 5 or 3 people here, I appreciate that. And that's not. There's plenty of people who are good people that don't listen to this show. Finn, though, was fabulous, and it was like I said, I'm can't wait to meet her. Out of everybody, she's my one. Like, oh my god, please. She really wants to go. She's like super duper excited to go to TremorsFest. And so yeah, like, Finn Carter's going to be there as far as I know. Michael Gross has reached out to her because this is how it ended up with all of these emails and everything. I do the open, Michael does the close. Because it is Michael's Fest. You got to have an intern. You got to have somebody that does your grunt work, which is me. But then you got to have your fucking Michael Gross to come in and be like, here's this delicious cake. Would you like to eat it? I don't know. What the hell was the cake metaphor? So that was great. Like I said, Finn, fucking awesome. Finn Carter, wherever you're at. I'll have to get the guts to actually send this to you if I feel like it. I'll wait. Like, she really wants to come on the show too. She was like, oh no, she's not worried about money. Like, she apparently Finn's residuals for Tremors were more than she ever made for the movie itself. Like, she made more money in the following years than she ever did in like making like the movie. And while Anthony's here, I just gotta, like, Anthony, you're not gonna believe what I did. You should go back and listen to what the opening song of the show was today. It might have something to do with this T-shirt back here and this other T-shirt back here. I don't know. Maybe you should like go backwards and check it out. Maybe it's stupid, critically stupid. But yeah, Finn, like I said, she owned owned the fuck out of it, and I appreciated her so much. She really wants to come on the show. Like, she was like, "Oh my god, I would." And that's where it's like, I could tell you everything she fucking said, but it's like, no. I want her to say it. I want her to have a platform to come on and just fucking full send that shit. Oh no! I know, Anthony. I figured you said you had to be a human for 7-ish hours, so I figured you were like doing your D&D stuff. However, the opening of this episode will give you a good giggle. That's what I gotta say on that. It's only 2.5 minutes, or however long that song is, and you'll like it. I promise. But yeah, Finn really wants to go, and like Finn really wants to be on the show. And I love her. Like, she's now my new favorite Tremors person of all. Like, I don't mind being a little fangirl about it, or I'm just like, oh my god, like, I do, like, because it's such a human thing, and I actually, like, I can find it in her, because she was like really giving me some stuff, and she's like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking. I was like, so look, my mom actually went through like something similar, like when I was a kid, so I'm well aware of those demons and everything that happens, and like what we do in our past does not mean that's who we are in our present, nor is it who we'll be in the future. And we all live each day. That go back to rest in peace, John Daniels. Like, we all keep living every moment. How do you get trans pronouns right? You're not going to. You're gonna fuck it up, but then you try to get better about it. Like, and she is the embodiment of that spirit, and that's the point of like, dude, where's my critical need to know information on this? This is a episode about information and what we do with information, and fucking so the information that I got, and then like I told the people I was talking to about this, and they like did not. It wasn't that they didn't believe me; they just weren't sure that I was like actually talking to Finn, because nobody'd heard from Finn, and it was a whole thing. And I just like, I don't blame them. I understand it. It was just more like, I just like, there's no way in hell that I had 2.5 hours conversation, and she just made all that up. That would be a really great person pulling off one of the craziest cons of all time. Very low stakes. I'm gonna pretend to be Finn Carter con. But yeah, it was like I said. She will be on the show. Her and Charlotte really wants to be on the show, so I gotta get her. Gotta get her too. But life. I got so many people that want to be on the show. It's driving me. It's getting hard to actually like schedule shit. Like, I can't believe I got like the Splattercast boys. I got to get you back on. So anyway, this information? Like I said, I'm terrible at calling people on the phone. So I had this 2.5 hour conversation with Finn, and it was like, okay, so I can do this. I can put the face on, and I can do this. Yeah. And I ended up just calling people that, like, because if the email doesn't work, then it's like probably going to spam. So it's like, I'm gonna call your agent, call whoever, get in contact with you. And holy weird, man. It's been wild. I've talked to a lot of people. I'll give you my favorites. So I talked to Tom Woodruff Jr., who really, like, the guy that made Graboid, Shriekers, and Ass Blasters. Him and Alec Gillis, who are like, they made them together, and they're responsible for Aliens, like the Xenomorph, and for Predator, and for fucking Godzilla and Kong, and for a whole bunch of fucking other shit. Sometimes I need to, that's a list of people, like, the special effects guys, they, like, those two go all over. Starship Troopers, that was the other one I was thinking of. Like, I talked to Tom for like a good half an hour. Like, it was just like geeking out with him, where I'm like, oh my God, like, everybody wants the actors and stuff, but I want like the crew and cast people, because I'm such a behind the scenes nerd, like on theater and stuff, that it's like, oh my God, Tom, what was it like hiding in the fucking Graboid and coming out? And Ass Blasters, fucking Bombardier Beetle's a real thing, man. Oh my God, this is so amazing. And then Tom actually encouraged me too, because Tom was like, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not great at talking on the phone either. Like, I would just so much prefer to send an email and just do it that way. And I think it's like the rejection thing. Like it's if I send you the email, you get to choose when you want to respond back. But when I'm calling you, talking to you, then you got to do it in a moment, and it feels like there's pressure, and I just don't like doing it. It's like, oh my god, I know Tom, and Tom was like, so you should just keep calling people. You're actually pretty good at it. You should keep doing it. It's like, okay, fine. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. So I did. I kept doing it, and I ended up getting. This is my like my freak out one, because remember how I said earlier that I was pretending to be Tyler Reed while I was calling all of these people in Santa Fe last year? I got to call Victor Brown, fucking Tyler Reed himself, and I told him that. And I did. I was like, hey, oh my God, yeah, man, I'd love you. Honestly, because I started out when I was emailing him and texting him, I was like, oh, dude, like, Tremors the series. I said it at the top, like Tremors 4 is my favorite movie, but Tremors the series is like my favorite. And like if there was anyone to like carry the torch for the Tremors franchise, it should have been Tyler Reed. Like it was there. He like Bert was like not grooming him, but like that was his protege. And I was like, and Bert and Tyler is like my favorite pairing, even more so than Val and Earl. Like those two together is tops. And I was telling him all this in email. And so then when I actually called him, I was like, yeah, no, look, I wasn't joking. I'm not fucking with you, man. Like that, really, to the point where like I had told him, I was like, yeah, I did like impersonate you. And I even did like a little line from it or like whatever. And he was like, oh my God, wow, man, you're pretty good at that. I was like, yeah, I do. I love you, Tyler Reed. You're just a good Tyler Reed, double E, specializing in replacement EGR valves. Fuck yeah, God, it was so cool. But and Victor was great, to the point where he was even like, because I like so far I like JD Walsh, who plays Larry Norville, like Larry's gonna be at Tremors Fest, Chris, and Gladys, who's Rosalita, and Leela Lee, who plays Jodie Chang, and then Michael Gross, who's Burt Gummer, and then Victor Brown, who's Tyler Reed. Like that's 5 of the cast of Tremors the series. Like and Chris is right. Tyler Reed should have been Bert's son. Like that would have been the plot twist of the fucking century. Like fuck yeah. And I love when Bert and Tyler compare gun sizes quickly. God, you're right, Chris. It's so funny. But I was like, yeah, Victor, I'd love to get you there. And he was kind of hesitant. I don't know yet. He's still like it's Tremors, and we can't pay any of these people. That's where I always feel so bad. Where it's like, so hey, can you do lodging or accommodations or anything like that? It's like, no, and I'm sorry. But he was still really interested, and I was like, I'm gonna do my best to get you there. And he even said, he's like, hey, like you should get Dean. I'd love to see Dean there. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to tell him that. Like I specifically like wrote it down. I was like, I will tell Dean that Victor says you got to get him there. To the point where then when I messaged Dean, I was like, Vic says he really wants you there, man. And we got everybody else. We got these 5 other people from Tremors the series, and you're the only one because Marcia Strassman is dead, unfortunately. But like you're the only other one that's alive that's part of that main cast. And if they're all having fun without you, how you gonna feel, Dean? How you gonna feel, Dean? How you gonna feel, Dean? So yeah, that's been. I'm just fucking. I wish I could say that it's like, oh, I'm on cloud 9 and feeling great. I'm terrified. Like I've been calling people. I have Reba McEntire's phone number. I still don't know how that one works. She's still maybe, but like just cold calling people. Oh, and then my other one was Sam Lee, who plays Fu Yin in Tremors 4: The Legend Begins. And like I said at the top, Tremors 4 is my favorite Tremors movie, and I've been trying to snag him for a while now, and he finally got back to me. He's been in jury duty, so like he's unable to like call at regular times. And eventually he called me at like 11 o'clock my way. Oh, hey, Colton. Hey, Colton. I'm going to get Fu Yin at Tremors Fest. From Tremors 4. And yeah, Dean likes the show still. Colton, if you're here, by the way, I loved your questions last year at Tremors Fest. You're a hilarious kid. I love it. Keep it up. Keep being inquisitive. Uh, um, and I ended up talking to Sam Lee, and God, he is such a cute, like he's so like, because again, you only ever see these people on screen or whatever, so you're trying to like figure out what they're like behind the scenes. And he was just like, yeah, oh my God, I would love to, like, I can't commit because I'm still in like so much of this jury trial and I don't know what my summer's going to be like and all this, but like, I would love to go. And I was even telling him about meeting Sarah Botchford last year. And he was like, oh man, Sarah's got a wicked sense of humor. I was like, this is really weird, man. I don't know how to fucking take this. But Sam was really like, yeah, I'm in, like, let's do this. And I'm like, yes, please, let's do this. This is great. So I've just been calling the fuck out of people, and it's been awesome and amazing. And I have at least 30 names of people, and these are ones that I'm like confirmed on. I've got like another 20 names of people that are just kind of like I'm still having conversations with on our back and forth on like what we're trying to do. It's gonna be nuts. Tremors Fest is gonna be nuts because then in the end too, like, hey, Daphne! Oh, here, you know what? I haven't done the Run for Your Lives bit yet, but we'll get there. I love Daphne. Daphne still hasn't told me how I can improve my podcast yet. And because Daphne's not going to be at Tremors Fest this year, well, she better fucking tell me now. Anyway, coming in, Daphne, I'm talking about all of the great people I've met for Tremors, like, talked to, like, for Tremors Fest. See all these? These are all people. All people. All Tremors, all the Tremors people. And I will say, Daphne, you can choose whether or not to tell Paige this. Not only do I have Reba McEntire's phone number, I have her personal email address. Like, I have Reba McEntire's personal email address. The other one's a business phone. There's a guy named James that I talked to. But I have Reba McEntire's personal email address. Don't tell Paige, or do tell Paige, or I don't know. Tell Paige that he needs to like figure it out. FIO, buddy. You better come to Tremors Fest. You both better make it a point. Okay. Can you get Chris? Okay, can you get George R. R. Martin to pay for travel and accommodations for the Tremors cast that agree to come? What's a few $1,000s to him? I like, yeah, very for real. Like, guys, I'm not fucking with you. Do you think I'm fucking with you at this point? No way for real. No way for real. For real. It's personally like that's where I don't know. My brain hurts, and I don't know who I am anymore. I know the rescheduled dates fucked you guys up. I know. I just would love to see you, Daphne and Paige. I mean, you more than Paige because I've already seen Paige, but I want to see Daphne. That's just, please ignore me being being a petulant child. But if I get Reba there, then Paige has to come because Paige's namesake is based off of Reba McEntire's brother. So that's the whole like that. Yeah. I can give Paige her number. Do you want Reba McEntire's phone number, Paige? You can fucking figure it out from there. So the George R. R. Martin thing. So look, I had made a promise, and I'm gonna keep this about not saying anything that's not something that I discovered on my own. All right. However, I am the Tremors guy. What TikTok person? Where's the Tremors guy at? I'm the Tremors guy. I'm the Tremors person. We've had this conversation already. And I just don't want to talk about that George R. R. Martin thing, so I'll pop up Chris's comment. If you get Reba and Michael Gross to come and hug each other, you win Tremors Fest and life. I mean, I would fucking win life. Like that would be like, but look, here's the thing. If Michael can't get Reba, I can't. There's no way in hell. Like, there's nothing that I can say to Reba to get her to come. Like, there's nothing. I'm just Levi Dylan host of the Talking Tremors podcast. What can I offer you, Reba McEntire, country music superstar, to get you to come to Tremors Fest? I don't even have any money. So, like, what am I going to offer you? I can't. My goal is the only thing. And that's my, like, God damn, Anthony. And you know what, Anthony? If you're going to say shit like that, then have you emailed or called any of those people that I sent you? If you say yes, then I have to agree with you. If you say no, though, then, yeah. Look, okay, there's some very complicated things here, and I gotta answer the George R. R. Martin question. Look, I don't think that George R. R. Martin should really be involved with Tremors Fest. Okay, that was my personal opinion last year. Was that my confusion, and like, I just don't know about that guy. All right, look, I'm not gonna lay the blame for Game of Thrones at his feet. That's Benioff and Weiss. They fucked that up. And we'll be like, why aren't you? You're organizing a Tremors Fest. Why aren't you writing a book? I do love House of Dragon. Fucking it's dope. Like, I just don't understand why George R. R. Martin has made Tremors Fest his like every being. Like, I just don't get it, like, at all. Like, Michael Gross, like, it should be Michael Gross's Tremors Fest, like, and it should. And that's where, like, I can't say it. Like, that man is wishy-washy on things. He's an actor, so he always just agrees with whoever's like the strongest voice in the room. And George R. R. Martin's around, and apparently, why doesn't George R. R. Martin throw some money at things? Like, I agree with this. Like, I do. Like, if we want these people to come and such, like, why isn't George throwing down? In my mind, I think that, like, buying the hotel block would be like, that's it. Like, that's what you would do. Like, if it was me, if I had a bunch of money, like, because you can't like give everybody like a different like sum of money. It'd be like, look, how about we pay for the hotel? We'll pay for the whole hotel. You can't buy the whole hotel, but you buy a block of suites or rooms, and you just like, here, if you're coming to Tremors Fest and we're in Tremors, there's your room. Boom, we paid for your room. The rest is on you. You got to get here. That would be my, like, if I was George R. R. Martin, if I had the money to do that, that's how I'd play that game. Especially if nobody's being paid to sign autographs and take pictures and shit like that. But I'm not, so I can't make these decisions. That's not my ball game. I'd love it to be. Love to be in the room for the George R. R. Martin conversations. It's just not happening. But again, I don't want to talk about him because he just makes me like exhausted when it comes to this. Everybody else I'm kind of cool with. Even Glenn. George R. R. Martin, I don't care. Whatever. Finish the books and then we'll talk. I don't even read the book, so take my opinion on that with a grain of salt. Let's go back to the Reba and Michael Gross. If I can get Reba and Michael Gross to hug each other, I win Tremors Fest and life. And the fact that Anthony did not respond means that Anthony has not used any of those emails or numbers that I gave him. So, it's a lot harder than it seems. And yeah, just thank you, Chris. The hotel block is just a good idea. Like, you gotta do something. You gotta throw it in. Although I do feel like anybody that's coming, the idea of like you being there at Tremors Fest is to have fun with the people that you made Tremors with. Like, that was actually one of the. Okay, so this is actually a cute thing. That's not. This is the Finn thing, and this was something she told me that was really like, this is totally fair for me to share. So she was talking about how like they would be filming Tremors, and she even put it, you have a little fun in the jacuzzi the night before, and then you show up to set a little less than. And she was telling me about how like there was this guy who like she would get tired in the running scene at the end, and she was just like she couldn't walk, and so then this guy would like throw her on his shoulders and like carry her back to the start because they'd have to do it over and over and over again. And when I was talking to Finn, she was telling me this story, and I was like, oh my God, I actually know exactly what you're talking about, because in Steve Wilson's Lost Tapes, there is a there's a moment like Bob actually filmed this, like actual moment. I'll get you in a second, Colton. Hold on. Like he actually filmed this, and she's like, "You got to get that guy," because him and I had such a fun time together. Like I can't remember his name, and I actually went through the IMDb like pro thing, and I was like looking through, and I was like, "Is it this guy? This guy? This?" No. Eventually, hit the right name, Mike Malone. And Mike Malone was the one that like picked Finn up and carried her and set her down. And they had so much fun together. And Finn was saying like, "Oh, you got to get like Beth Thompson and Zimbabwe. Oh my God, Zimbabwe. Fuck yeah." And the Fabrizi sisters who did the makeup. Like you got to get all these people. Like it was so much fun. I'd love to have fun with them again. And that was my goal, like with Tremors Fest. It's been that since the beginning. It's the Gladys and the Leela thing, where it's like getting these people all in the same room, having a fun time together, reminiscing. Is like, I'm sorry guys, as fans, like I don't care. Even as a fan myself, I don't care about anybody signing my shit or taking pictures with anything like that. These people haven't seen each other in like 30 years. Like getting them back together and having fun and hanging out with each other, that is my goal. That is the point of all of these names, and like getting everybody that's not just an actor but crew. Like that is my goal with Tremors Fest, is that like if we can't pay people, we have to be able to say you're gonna fucking have a fucking great time walking down that memory lane with all of those people that you made Tremors with. And you know what? Maybe you take some pictures and sign some shit while you're doing it, but that right there, that is the gold nugget of your experience. Which is why I said the thing about Dean, where it's like, if Victor and JD and Leela and Gladys and Michael are there and Dean's not there, I'm going to be so sad, because it's like, dude, all your friends are there. What, you're missing out. It's like summer camp. Like you're missing out on like your summer camp friends. And she was, and Ben's right. Like she was thinking of the crew. Alexander Gruzinski, who's the cinematographer, that was another one. She was like, "You gotta get Alex. Oh my God, like get him, please and thank you." He's the only reason that movie got made, as she said. But she was thinking about all these people, and that's where, like I said, I'm a theater person. I came up through the stage, and I love being a stagehand and a backstage person more than anything. Like I don't care about lines or anything. Like I love being a backstage person, because you get to be there all the time, and there's no pressure because nobody's fucking looking at you. And it's the best. It's the fucking best. And like I said, I want all of them to like come and hang out together. So that's where I get it, people. Everybody wants Reba and Michael to hug. Not my goal. Reba and Michael can hug anytime. They probably do. They probably see each other plenty. But stuff like that, like the Finn and the Mike Malone, that I want to capture. The Tremors the series people all back together. That I want to capture. So I'm sorry to the fans if you guys hate me for that. That's on me, because you know what? In the end, you're still gonna have a great time. You're gonna see all these people. You're still gonna have a great time. So you're gonna win regardless. We have to make this worth it for those people coming. And I want to do one more thing. Okay. So next month we have a birthday for Colton, who's turning 8. Colton Hillier, who's the son of Derek Hillier, Dora Shea, and Lizzie Hillier. Colton is turning 8. And happy birthday. And Colton, if you tell me the date of your birthday, I will make sure to shout it out on that date. I will write it down. Like if you comment what day your birthday is, I will write it down and I will shout your birthday out, and we will sing happy birthday to Colton on this podcast. So fuck yeah, man. Hold on. I'm waiting for you to finish your thoughts here, Chris. Chris has some random ideas for Tremors Fest that you probably already thought of. And I love you. Yes, I have. I didn't think about that third one though. Random idea number 1. Tremors trivia. Tremors trivia. Former cast members answer trivia questions in front of fans. There's going to be a trivia contest. That's actually something I'm in charge of. Oh, yeah. Because who knows Tremors trivia better than anybody? Well, where we're going to have fans obviously answer trivia questions and jazz. I don't know. See, the answering, I'll pull it back up again so I can see it. Answering trivia questions in front of fans, that's just the Q&A. Although, I mean, still not a terrible idea. The second idea was actually one that Zoran and I talked about. Fan films, a contest for the best Tremors short film. That was actually something Zoran and I were talking about last year, because it's like, hey, like, what are you doing in the extra time? Let's have like some fun with this. Like, that's a great way to get everybody involved. So that's a good one. This is one I had not thought of, and I really do like. Story contest. Fans stand up and present story ideas on Tremors 8. Ooh, I like that one. And I have a special surprise on that one later. I mean, or do I? Maybe I don't. And Colton Hillier's birthday is on June 5th. So let's write that down. June 5th. Colton Hillier birthday. And it was Samaji's birthday just a couple weeks ago. We went out to the jump park and we saw Godzilla times Kong. Happy birthday to Samaje Deontay Timmons. No, it's not Deontay, because Trell is Deontay. Samaje Timmons. Okay, Anthony. You and your shit. So happy birthday, Samaje. And then Trell's got a birthday coming up soon. And Sean Day's got a birthday coming up soon. So, booyah. Happy early birthday. I'm not ignoring your comment, Anthony. I know, Daphne, and I wanted to spend your birthday at TremorsFest too. I know. My birthday's in July. I could have had a birthday around TremorsFest. That would have been nice. Like, to go on a vacation on my birthday. That would have been dope. So I'm sorry. Everybody. And then we're on the birthday. Ben Pangea's birthday. TremorsFest 2023 was my 40th birthday. Another reason I didn't know about it. Wow. Everybody and their birthdays. This is why birthdays are just weird to me. It's just another day. That's just my own personal opinion. Please don't hold anybody to that. Anthony has a question. Will there be a fan film submission deadline announced? Where do people send these things? I'm going to keep it pinned up. You know what? This is actually a good point. This is actually something that I personally, like I said, Zoran and I talked about it last year, about it would just be a good idea for TremorsFest. The fan film idea is something that I would love to do myself. Like, just trying to put that together. Because I've talked about it before on the show, where it's like, I just want people to make Tremors films. I don't care if I'm the one fucking making them or I'm helping you make them. I just want people to make Tremors films. I think that's like the coolest thing in the world. There's one out right now by Alec Ramirez called Tremors Take Orlando, which is him with some puppets talking to each other, and it's like a 30-minute long thing about like graboids taking Orlando, and then they're eating different monsters, universal monsters specifically. So will there be a submission deadline? Where do people send these things? Send it to me. But look, man, I got to put it together first. You know what? It'll be done by the time that your Kickstarter for Stakeout is done. I kid. Because you're actually about, it'll be done when you release the feature film version of Stakeout. How about that, Anthony? But I kid. However, it is something that I have thought of, and I think would be a really good idea for people to do. Get lots of people involved and have fun with Tremors. July 3rd is my birthday. No, July 1st is my birthday, so we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. And yeah, birthdays. Everybody, can we just stop talking about birthdays? Because I'm with William. It's just a day, man. It's just a day. And, you know, as a transgendered person, having a birthday is even harder because it's the day that my life went wrong, you know? And then I came here just as a very sad point of fact on where I'm at on that front. But yeah, to Anthony's credit, I do want to say that I'm not joking when I say seriously that having a Tremors fan film contest is something that I have thought of. For me, I would have to, you got to have a good enough prize, which I don't know what that would be in the end. I've always thought trying something with Michael Gross. If I could talk to Michael, if I could talk to Michael and be like, hey, would you like do 30 minutes of like talking to somebody or something? I don't know. I'm not good with prizes because I don't know what matters to people. I know what matters to me. Not my area of expertise. Yeah. Happy early birthday. Thank you, Colton. I appreciate that. But so yeah. Tremors Fest. Interesting. And on another note too, I am talking to the guy who runs the Lone Pine Film Museum about our third Tremors Fest, and we would like to do it out in Lone Pine because a lot more people can make it out to Lone Pine, and it's the 35th anniversary. It would be that year. It would be great to do it out where it all began. So here's hoping. Like that's a knock on wood. And this is funny too. So like out of everybody, like the one person in the original Tremors cast who I could not find information for was Richard Marcus, who plays Nestor Cunningham, the guy that gets sucked in the tire. And I called this guy out at the Lone Pine Museum, and I was talking to him, and he ended up being like, "Hey, do you know who Richard Marcus is?" I was like, "Yeah, it's Nestor." Wow, what are you talking? He's like, "Oh yeah, no, he's got a cabin up in like Mount Whitney, and like I got his contact information if you ever like need it or if we get closer to doing this." And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This random ass phone call that I decided to do, and you've got the contact information for the one fucking other actor that I could not find. Okay then. So that was, like I said, just interesting to me on that front. And yeah, so hopefully Tremors, third annual Tremors Fest, we do it in Lone Pine. I would love for that because that goes back to the George R. R. Martin thing. I just really want to push it away from the George R. R. Martin's Tremors Fest and into Tremors Fest or Michael Gross's Tremors Fest. You know, it's one of them things. So I have like, okay, so this is Tremors Fest related. So like, I've been working to get some people from the Tremors pilot in, and the conversation was recently had that like it might be awkward to have these people there if there's nothing to like show for it. Like there's a trailer, technically it never existed. We all would love for it to and do all this. However, what are they going to talk about when they're there? And I disagree with the people that were saying this because I'm like, I don't know. We did Tremors the series last year. It didn't show Tremors the series. Bill Watterson's Tremors 8, he was going to do a presentation and he was going to bring clips to it. Like, and that was fine. So, like, not having the pilot doesn't really seem like an obstacle enough to me. Especially when the one person I had, Erin O'Brien, is the person you see the most in the Tremors pilot. She's the woman that gets eaten and has the stop talking sign. So it's like that, it's there. There's something there. And Colton is in Tremors 8, if only. Colton, just as a point of fact, we're on like Tremors 15 right now. Just as we are way past 8. Way past 8. And so it kind of fell to me, and actually this has fallen to me for a while now, even before Tremors Fest, that I should find the Tremors pilot. And it's interesting. All right. To the point where, like I said, I use all social media trying to find anything that I can. Literally last night, this happened to me. For some reason, I decided to check Instagram for some, I don't even think it was Tremors pilot related. It was just one, I think it was, Tremors 7. Like I was looking for Tremors 7 people. Which I have found in spades. I have found so many people from Tremors 7 and 6. Surprisingly, I can't find anybody from Tremors 5. It's super weird. Like 6, 7, fucking everybody, fucking everybody. I mean, like everybody. But 5, nothing. Boom, dead air. But the Tremors pilot, I was like, hey, you know what? Hey, all of those people were younger, and this was like 2018. Let me go look on their Instagrams and see what I can find. This is where my specialty skills come in. I have a photographic memory. I'm really great at sussing out patterns, and I know people well, that's how all of this has been done. Is me, I can cross-reference like a motherfucker, and like I know, okay, you said that over there, I know that person, so then these two things, okay, so then this person, all right, so this is a whole like, there's all of these things here, and I can see the pattern of this. This is my autism. I'm a beautiful minding it without the hallucinations, I'm hoping. And I went on Instagram and I found the timeline for when they shot the Tremors pilot. And I found all of the people that were in it, and they were all sharing Instagram photos of it. October, I want to say, what was it? It was like October 5th through November 5th. No, November 12th, yes. And of 2017. And they were all really cryptic about it. Like, they never really, like, 50% of the time, they would never mention Tremors. Like, they would just be taking pictures, and then you'd get a, like, oh, this is perfection, or something like that. Like, and he'd be like, and it's New Mexico. And, like, having been there, that landscape is unmistakable. So, like, I'd be scrolling through, and I'd be like, you're in New Mexico. I can fucking tell. I'm going to stop and, like, go through here and look. Okay. What I ended up finding was really interesting for me, where Colton, cover your ears for this bit. I don't usually have an 8-year-old on the show. It's fine. It's fine if you don't. If your dad or mom are there, Colton, please. I'm really glad Colton. I hope Colton wasn't here for the earlier conversation about Val and Earl, or I would be in big trouble. It's fine, buddy. It's fine. I can talk about it without it. When they made the Tremors pilot, those people bonded like crazy. Like, they were out in the desert doing out in the desert things, like just having a ball with each other and like hanging out, and you could sense, you know, that thing that I was talking about with Finn and Mike Malone, where it's like there's this camaraderie that takes place and is created, trauma bonding. I always go back to that, like having been through theater and drum corps and everything else, that like when you're with someone and a group of people for like 5 weeks and you're doing this one singular thing, you become like a new set of people again. Like, you have a shared experience and you just like learn to love a new family. Again, that's a great way of putting it. And that's what these guys did. All of the people that made the Tremors pilot. It is no joke. It is like seeing everybody in 1989 when they were filming Tremors in Lone Pine. Same vibes and everything. Like, they were out in the desert making this weird ass pilot about giant underground worms with Kevin Bacon. And Kevin's there. Kevin's fucking there, and he's part of it. And like, these people had a blast to the point where they went. There was one. There's actually, this was across several accounts, where they went to Meow Wolf in Santa Fe. They all like got very desert vibed. That's my best. I can't. Colton's in the chat, so I just got to be careful about this. Like, they all got very desert vibed and like went to Meow Wolf, man. Like, seriously. And like, as you can tell by the way the pictures are taken, when you get a lot of those sunsetty pictures, you're just like, okay, I know what you guys were doing at Meow Wolf in Santa Fe. And it was beautiful, wonderful to see. And I was partially like having a blast, like just like scrolling through and finding all this stuff like last night, and just seeing the camaraderie and the love that happened. What this has to do with the pilot itself is interesting. So, as we all know, Nobody's has the pilot. Nobody's seen the pilot. But it exists. It exists in a full form. Like it exists. The effects work is done. It's edited. It's 60 minutes long. It is all done. There's nothing you need to do to it. You can just show it. And as I was going through, I like because they had so much fun in the desert, and then when it got canceled, heartbreak. To the point where it wasn't so much about like oh, we don't have that job anymore. They're like, oh, I don't get to hang out with those people anymore. That was the thing that made them the saddest, was they went like, I don't get to hang out with them anymore. That sucks. We don't even get to see it. That's like double sucks. And it goes back to that Finn thing, like Finn hanging out with people, and what I'm trying to do with TremorsFest. Like, that doesn't mean that experience didn't exist for them and like is very real, and they were changed and empowered. This is the information and who you are. I go back to the beginning, the theme of this episode, like everything changes you when you take something in like that. It changes you and makes you a different person. And like they're all heartbroken that they don't get to hang out with their friends anymore. One of them, Shiloh Fernandez and Emily Tremaine, actually met up on the set, and they're married now. Like, that's their characters were like getting together in the episode, and they're like married now. And seeing this and seeing their pain, I was like, there's something fucking here, man. Like, there's something. Like, if I can find the right person who has that on their hard drive, and it's Andrew Miller. I know it's Andrew. I know Andrew's got it. Because Vincenzo won't. And I've talked to him because he's not. This is what's funny. Because he's Spanish. All right. And I understand his fear of the American system, of the American Hollywood judicial system, like them coming after him. Totally get it. Andrew is not. Andrew is an American. This is so weird to say. And he knows that, like, yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to ignore that fucking contract and do what you want to do because you know it's right. And I think if I can get Andrew, and I have his phone number, this is one that I'm just like waiting to like push the button on, because it has to. I gotta figure out how I want to say it and play it to him, because I want to be like, hey Andrew, you want to come to TremorsFest? Fuck yeah. However, we'd love to play the pilot at TremorsFest. Let's like find a way to do this. Can we? Please and thank you. I'll take it. I promise nobody will know it came from you, unless they listen to this show now. Which, who the fuck listens to this show? 6 people. Woo! 6 people out of the fucking billion Tremors fans that are out there. And I can sense something like this. This is my gut instinct. What do you need, Colton? I don't know what you need. I don't know. I don't usually have an 8-year-old in the chat, so like forgive me, people. There's something there. And this is a bad way to say it. I'm going to say it anyway because it feels like it's the right word. There's something I can exploit. There's a crevice there. There's a way to get in, and I feel like I can appeal to their emotion. That was what I learned from Finn and Tom and Victor and Sam. And like, thank you, Anthony. I'm being cool and sneaky. I don't sure. Yeah, there's something there. Like Ben, there's a gold vein to be tapped. There's something like, I guess it goes back to what I've done with this podcast since the very beginning, that like, if I feel something's wrong, you're talking about, I was gonna say, I'm not being cool and sneaky. Colton is. Thank you. That makes so much more sense. Yes, Colton is being very cool and sneaky right now. I'll even put on my Gummer glasses for Cole, because we're all sneaky here. Because of the glasses. Now I get it. See, Anthony's a dad, so that makes more sense. Anthony gets it. Yes, Colton's being sneaky. That's what he's doing. Holy shit. That's totally what he's doing. Oh, he's not here. It's fine, Colton. I already talked about the thing that, like, I didn't. It's fine. Everything else that I'm discussing is 100%. You should know. Because here's the thing, Colton. If somebody takes, like, if you, Colton, were to draw a picture, like, and you drew a picture, let's use Anthony here. Like, if you drew a picture of a vampire, a really cool picture of a vampire, sure, a bunch of other people have, like, drawn pictures of a vampire, and there's one guy named Bram Stoker who copyrighted the vampire, like the Dracula vampire. And sure, you know, like, maybe your vampire's got like a cape and fangs and stuff like that, or similar or whatever. That's still your drawing of a vampire, okay, Colton? And nobody should be able to come and be like, and take that from you. That should never be a case of like, that's our vampire now, like, we get to take it from you. Even if somebody did like commission you to like draw a picture of a vampire, that's still yours. You like created that and put that out into the world. And okay, and let's, like, maybe if the teacher is like, hey, Colton, draw me a picture of a vampire, and like, you do, it's great, and then they take it and they're like, well, you know, I'm not going to grade it, Colton, but you know what I am going to do? I'm just going to rip it, and nobody gets to see your picture of a vampire ever again. He'd be pissed. Everybody'd be pissed. That's pretty, like, that's the Tremors pilot to me, where it's like, you know, like, sure, there's studios involved, and I listen, I really don't give a shit what Universal wants, because they've been so shady with Tremors since the beginning. It's like, sure, they commissioned you to do this. For you to come in and be like, no, we're gonna rip that up and nobody gets to see it again. It's like, I don't care. Like, that's the Batgirl thing. That's the Coyote versus Acme thing, where it's like, that is so dumb and frustrating. Like, nobody should ever be able to come and take your intellectual property and just rip it up like that. That should not. And so anyway, in the end here, I see this thing, and I just, like, there's something. I don't know what it is yet. I have a gut instinct, and I'm following it. I'm like a bloodhound on a trail, on an investigatory trail, and I'm following it. And actually, it'll come back. I have 2 more topics to discuss, and then this actually ties in to my final topic, like, final topic. Oh, and oh my God, right, Chris? Chris is nail on the head here with this. In my opinion, the studio lost the rights to the pilot the second they decided not to air it. I hate when companies don't use an IP but don't want anyone else to use it either. Like, it makes no sense. It's like, hey, if you use it or lose it, if you like, who does it hurt for this to be out there on the air? There's 7 Tremors movies of varying quality for us to be like, oh, like, we don't want this to ruin how people feel about Tremors. Like, we can't show the pilot. It's like, excuse me, have you seen Tremors 6? And I like Tremors 6. But oh my God, are you kidding me, Colton? Apparently this has happened with Colton's story at his school. All right, Colton, you write that shit in the comments and we'll talk about it. Tell us your story. I'm going to keep going here, but I will come back to you. So I'm trying to find a pilot right now, and I have some leads. I have some ideas. If you guys see the pilot soon, always welcome. How about that? Which leads me to my second point here. I recently came into possession of a bunch of emails. Let's just say that it's Michael Gross's personal stash of emails to people. How? Fuck you. You don't get to know that. I'm not going to tell you that. There are some secrets that are too good to keep. Or whatever. You guys know what I mean. I came into possession of this, and this goes to the pilot thing, that I'm just like, there's something here that I'm sensing, and I don't know what it is. However, I feel like I do know what it is. That Michael Gross has this whole list of emails of people. And there's one name conspicuously missing. And it's Kevin. Like, he has the contact information for everybody that he's done Tremors with, from Tremors 1 to Tremors 7, and Tremors the series, and in between. But Michael Gross doesn't have the contact information for Kevin Bacon. Why? Like, why? And this isn't me being like, you're like bad people. I think there's a thing that happened here. All right. Because in my mind, we look at it that Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross are the alphas of Tremors. All right. Like they're the biggest dogs in the house when it comes to that. And I think something happened here where, especially when that pilot was going out, and this is actually, I blame Universal on this because I know Andrew Miller wanted Steve and Brent involved, and Universal told him no. I know that Andrew Miller wanted Bert and Heather to be in the pilot, and Universal was like dodgy on it, to the point where he had a tweet about like, and I love how he said, like, navigating personal desire with corporate interest is like walking across perfection with a graboid underfoot. But with Chang as my witness, there is room in this world for the Gummers. Like, that was his response to, like, is Bert going to be... Somebody tweeted him, and that was Andrew Miller's response of, like, Universal says no, I say yes. And it's fucking hard, but I'm going to fucking do what I can to make that possible. And Michael and I always feel bad about that because there's nobody, like, at that time, there's nobody like me to be able to relay this information. And there's no middleman doing a good enough job. And Michael took somebody's press release or other thing of saying that, like, Bert's not in it as like, no, he's not going to be involved ever. And I think he took that personally because he was like, well, I fucking made Tremors, and he did. But like, there's no denying. Raise your hand if you don't think that Michael, or if you think that Michael Gross. Raise your hand if you do think Michael Gross, like, is Tremors. Yeah, like, and I think he took it personally, and he even took it as like a, well, hey, Kevin's doing this, and he's not inviting me, so I guess I'm not like good enough. Even though Kevin was never apparently good enough or bad enough to be in our movies. And some miscommunication happened there or whatever. And then on the flip side, so then Kevin had it where it's like, well, Michael doesn't want to be involved apparently, and is like now, and then that's what I see is like press releases. Like, these things are then just happening like, oh my God, Colton actually wrote it. Oh my God. Keep writing, Colton. I will come back to your... Colton actually wrote it. I love this. And I think this miscommunication game happened where, like, press releases, because everybody, like, doesn't really talk to anybody, and they just, like, bounce off of small words that they're saying, sound bites and snippets, and, like, it got telephoned to Michael and Kevin that, like, oh, they didn't want each other for anything. And, like, I know this as, like, oh, I am elaborating. I'm trying to elaborate, TikTok person. Thank you for giving a shit. And I know this because in the Tremors 5 Gummer Down Under article written by the Hollywood Unseen, where they went through, like, Steve's whole process of, like, how it was from his side, like, in the 10 years between Tremors 4 and Tremors 5. And, like, Universal volleyball, blah, 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 to the point where, like, he was on his way to Chicago, and Nancy called him up and was like, yo, Kevin wants to do Tremors. He wants us there. He wants everybody there. We're going to have a meeting with all of us there. And, like, Steve was like, oh my God, cool, awesome. They go to, like, do that, and someone was like, and then someone went, oh, no, we don't want you at all. No, please, like, get away from us. Like, why are you even here? And I know that that's a producer, that's a Universal person, because you can't have someone like Andrew Miller who's writing the script and it says on the cover page, Tremors pilot based on the kick-ass script by Brent Maddock and S.S. Wilson. You can't have that and then not, like, those guys want to help me? Oh my God. Yeah. That's not how that works. That's bullshit. So I think that something happened in the telephone game of Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross, that they hurt each other's feelings and didn't realize it, and that's why Kevin Bacon is the only one who's not in Michael's contact info for Tremors, which makes me sad. So people are saying, and this is where I didn't tip my hand earlier when someone was like, "You got to get Michael and Reba to hug at Tremors Fest, and then you win at life." It's like, no. I got to get Michael and Kevin to hug at Tremors Fest, and then I win at life. That's my goal. Because then in my mind, let's restart the franchise. Guys, you're in the same room. Let's fucking do this. Let's fucking do this. And I have one last topic, but I want to read Colton's thing before we go. Colton, I wrote a story. Oh, I got to pull up on the comments. I wrote a story about the last human on Earth. He went to the store and saw a crack outside. Believing the world was splitting, he freaks out. The crack wasn't getting any bigger, though, so he believed the Earth was safe. Until he unknowingly sets off a nuke that destroys the whole planet. I guess my teacher said that was not a great idea for a story. Okay, if you're in the chat, is that not a great idea for a movie? That's a great fucking idea for a movie. That's a great idea for unknowingly set off a nuke. Like, he freaks out. The crack wasn't getting any bigger, though, so he believed the Earth was safe, and then he set off a nuke that destroys the whole planet. All right, Colton, we got a bunch of storytellers in the audience. I'm going to tell you, like, right here and now, your teacher was wrong. That story kicks ass. That's awesome. I'd watch that movie. I'd watch it. I'd watch it in a fucking heartbeat, bro. Bravo. I mean, freaking heartbeat. I swear a lot, Colton. I'm not sorry. You got to hear it from somebody. Tell your mom and dad I am sorry. Derek and Lizzie, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting there's an 8-year-old in my chat of my very NSFW podcast. I'm trying. God, you're bringing out the demons in me. I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day. So, always welcome, Colton. Always welcome, buddy. So, there's this, like I said, Kevin and Michael. And I was telling Caitlin this, where it's like, I think that's what's happening. And I think that would actually make, like, a great start to a new Tremors TV show. Is that, like, Val and Bert basically, like, trying to figure out who's the real alpha of Tremors. Like, if we're gonna, like, let's use our real world life things, and I think, like, that would be, like, Val would be like, I'm the one that killed him in the first place. You would have been stuck on the roof. And Bert's like, well, yeah, where the hell were you for the last ones, you stupid son of a bitch? I'm sorry, Colton, I keep swearing. I've killed, like, so many damn graboids. Where the hell you been? I think that would be great. And then everybody else just, like, dealing with these two hot-headed idiots. That's my pitch for Tremors, the series season 2. That and a lot of other things too, but that would be good. To the point where, so then this is like, I'm riding the line with this. However, this is something that Levi did personally. So Levi gets to talk about this. Guys, it's happening. I've talked about it many times on this show that I hooked up Stampede Entertainment with a copyright lawyer who got the Predator back to the Predator people, and Chucky back to the Chucky people, and Jason back to the Jason people. And guys, things are happening. for Stampede Entertainment 2025, y'all. And there's only 3 people in this room right now. Like, oh my God. Holy shit, Colton. Holy shit. Okay, like this is, oh my God, Colton is kicking ass. Colton's idea for a line in a new movie. Who died and left you in charge? Earl did. Oh! Oh my God. Dude. This isn't joking, man. That was awesome. That is a good line because it's a great callback to Who Died and Made You Einstein. Earl did. Your teacher was wrong, Colton. Your teacher was wrong. That was awesome. But yeah, Stampede Entertainment, those old Aridity Rights, that domino that I pushed 3 years ago is finally toppling. And I'm not going to give you much more information than that. Just know that I'm never wrong when it comes to Tremors. Or at least I'm only like 1% wrong. It's rare. Something's happening. And Colton, when you're at TremorsFest, you tell Steve Wilson that idea. You go tell old Steve Wilson that line right there. And it better be in the movie. The TV show. Who knows? Like I said, I'm partial to TV show, but whatever Steve and Brent and Ron want to do, I'm in. But I can tell from the chat that nobody's listening. So I just slid that one by. Boo boops. I just want it on record that I said it. Yeah. TremorsFest number 3 is going to be the big announcement. I don't know that for sure. That's just me being like, yeah. Colin, Chris, you guys came in just right at the time. Right in time. You slid in right here at the end of all that shit. So, all right. I got, like I said, this has been wild. I've had to be coy about some things, and I will come back around and tell them for real once things are firm. However, for now, I got to be a little DL on the Dell. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this so far. I'm going to do a thank you here in a minute. However, I have to go bye-bye to the TikTok because okay, so I need to call Don't Make It Weird, as I always do, often do. And I have to sing the Comma Comma Chameleon song. Does anybody hold on, I need to listen to it. Hold on, so 1 second. Let me hold on. I need to actually listen to it. Daniel requested this on the live. So if you're in the channel, all right, and you know my voices, I think Daniel wanted me to do Linda doing it, but if there's a better voice that I could do for Comma Comma Chameleon, and you guys know my voices, so give it to me and I'll do it. Hold on. Comma Chameleon. Hold on, how the fuck do you spell that? Comma Chameleon. Oh, Karma Chameleon. That's why I can't fucking figure that out. Hold on, we gotta. It's coming up. Okay, it's a fucking ad. Of course there's an ad. All right. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, okay. Now I can't do Christopher Lloyd. I'm not good enough at him. Without condition, coming, I'm a there. Okay. Picture. Oh, okay, I think I got it. Okay. Come a chameleon. Okay. Go. Okay. Come and go. Okay. I think I can get. Okay. But like, okay, who have I done that like? Ooh, Twitchell maybe. Come on. No, it's got to be Linda. Come, comedian. You coming and going. You coming and going. Okay, yep, I know. Bob and Linda Berger have nothing to do with this show at all, but I don't care. It's my show, so we're gonna do it. All right. Okay, so I got to call to don't make it weird, people. 347. Oh wait. Oh, I actually saved it as a. Hold on. I wrote don't make it weird because I'm tired of writing that fucking number. 347-699-3473. I'm a man without condition. You come and go. You come. Okay. Oh. Okay, I got it now. All right. All right, I gotta do it. They love my Bob and Linda too, so I just gotta do Bob and Linda.
You've reached the Don't Make It Weird voicemail box. If you have a message for Daniel, Dinosaurus, or producer Sean, leave it at the tone. We just might play it on the show. Thanks for calling.
'Cause I'm a man without condition. Lynn, you're not a man. I come and go. Come and go. Come me. Yeah. Lynn, you're not doing it. I come and go. I come and go. Lynn, what is this? Lynn, I'm doing the song. I'm doing a chameleon, baby. I'm a comedian. I have the colors. Oh my God, Lynn. I hope the kids don't hear this. Going, Bobby. I just had to. I know nobody else cares, but I care. And that's for Daniel. Got a little snippet of the Lindas. Wow, this has been fucking nutso. Nuckin' futso. Wow. Wow. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate the hell out of you all. That was I didn't even finish all my olives. Oh my God. You know what? Actually, that counts. That counts as 2 impressions. So that's 2 olives. Okay. Yeah. So, TremorsFest 2024. I'll keep you all updated once I find out more. It is October 11th, 12th, and 13th in Santa Fe, New Mexico at the Violet Crown Theater. Oh, I did. Oh, you did? Oh, you weren't here for that, Chris. Oh, I told everybody about Dean Norris. Oh, yeah. I told them all about Chris's crazy theories. Oh, fuck yeah, man. You bet your sweet fucking... Hey, but look, I'm Twitch here. Everybody loves that Tremors series. But nobody ever asked me. I did love it. It's a good time. And old Twitchell was working for the Proudfoot Corporation. Oh no, I of course, I'll always shout you guys out. Love you so much. That's why I'm wearing this shirt, which Chris is talking about right now. The Horrific podcast with him and Colin. Can you read it? Keep it creepy. Keep it horrific. I can't tell if people can read that. Maybe. I can't. I'm worried. Self-conscious. And go get some merch. This is a great t-shirt. I gotta say, this is breathing. I've got no pits. Everything smells good there. It's good black. I like it. I really do. Tell Colin, if you're watching this, great t-shirts. Bravo. And the design too. I like the trees. Like they're like reaching. I do. You did a good job, buddy. So yeah, go check out Colin and Chris. Go check out their whole Tremors the series and Tremors the movie review. If you think that I ramble about it, you should listen to those two. Have a good time with it. It's fucking awesome. And while I'm here, go listen to Critically Stupid, Dungeons and Dipshits, the soon-to-be world-famous Real Play Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Like I said, I'm on episode 33, and I'm just having a blast listening to them. It's if you play Dungeons and Dragons, it's just one of those things. Just like, why not listen to people have fun with it? And it's a great story, lots of great improv and yes anding. I hope that they use my UCB's t-shirt idea. I'm gonna try to do weekly shows. The last 3 weeks I have been doing all this TremorsFest shit, so I have had no brain time to devote to Tremors. Like I've literally doing Tremors shit during the week. So then even thinking about trying to have a Tremors podcast on the weekend is just, I cannot. Like, you can't have a 2.5 hour conversation with Finn Carter and be like, let's go keep talking about Tremors. It just doesn't work. Just does not work for that. But I'm trying. I do plan to have weekly, and this will be 4. I have 3 episodes I need to upload audio-wise. So please forgive me if this is only available on the Tremor Saga's YouTube live channel. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best, people. I'm only a humble, simple podcast person. I don't know if I'm humble. I'm simple. I'm definitely simple. And because Chris said, I'm going through Tremors withdrawal. Hope we have another show soon. Love you. Keep being you. Thank you. I will. Like I said, go listen to Critically Stupid. Love those guys. Everybody except for Anthony, who hates me. It's a whole thing. I don't believe him. And Alexander James. Alex, I know you'll never listen to this, but I'm going to say it right now. You're actually really good at voice acting. Like you told me I was really good at voice acting on the Don't Make It Weird live. And I'm going to tell you that you actually are really good. I love your voices, and you keep shitting on yourself, but I think you do a great job, like, cycling through. You got a good 10. You got a good 10 made-up voices, and I think they're awesome. And, let's just go through here. Garion, sometimes I can't tell, like, where the line between you and your character begins and ends. And I fucking love that. You dirty rapscallion motherfucker. To the point where, like, when I first saw you, like clipping in, I thought you were like non-purposely speaking with a lisp or something like that. But then I was like, oh no, that's just the way you talk. And then also you're like jazzing it up for Garion, which Garion, I can never tell which one of you is real, and I appreciate that. Mel, I love you. Diana, please stop. You don't need to kill yourself. You're fine. And I know you're in so much pain all the time. And just so you know, the guy who wrote Tremors, Brett Maddock, I think he's in a similar nerve situation as you are. He is in so much pain and trouble. And I feel for you. Smoke more or do more mouth drugs, whatever it takes. You're great. Please don't kill yourself. I think you're awesome. Everybody does. Although you can totally shit on Alex whenever you need to. That's fine. And you hold him accountable. Jess the Mess. I want to play D&D like you do. Like it. I wish that I could be that impulsive while also staying in character. Like Jess is a cow. She's a druid. That's a fae that turns into a cow, and she's mainly a cow most of the time. And I wish that I had that carefree of an attitude to just say fuck it and throw that to the wind. And then I know she's not around anymore because she swam into the ocean. Katie Cerulean, the mom of the group, the only one that was holding those fucking idiots together. And as a point of fact, ever since she's gone, Mel has, like, Diana, you've done a great job holding these idiots together. And but Katie, like, for being the only one that actually knew what Dungeons and Dragons was or played it beforehand. Fucking bravo. And I miss you. I do. I miss Mama Cerulean. And then I gotta say, Anthony, the Bard, you fucking clever bastard. There's so many times that I just like you like talk about committing to the character of it. I love you do a similar thing that I do where it's like I know like what's happening, but I also need to like detach myself from that and think what my character would actually do. And it's beautiful to the point where when we were watching Step Brothers the other night, I realized the reference that Stevie made that you and him did where what's your favorite dinosaur? Velociraptor. What's a dinosaur? Holy shit, that what's a dinosaur that you dropped? I was like, son of a bitch. That was fucking amazing. So bravo. I really do. And your recaps. That song, like I said, when you go back to the beginning of this episode, you'll see that the song that I used to open the show was the Answer the Call, Critically Stupid. Because when you hear the call to adventure and to the fantasy phone, you never know what's around the next corner. So grab your dice and roll. And if you have pride, it's so good. I fucking love it. It makes me just like fight the air. So Critically Stupid's great. While I'm here, go listen to We Have Issues. I got a new shirt from them too. So I love shirts. I have a bunch of Don't Make It Weird shirts, but they're not in yet because they didn't realize I bought shirts. So we'll see. But go listen to Anthony and Steven, and they are working on their new movie. I'm really excited. I'm glad that Anthony decided to make it a short film instead of a feature. I am worried about reaching too high for that first time out. And I'm going to reiterate it again that I really think that you need to do something even smaller than that. Just fucking test it. You got to test yourself, man. Steven's right. You got to do a legitimate music video again for something. But you got to test your skills again, man. You got to. Otherwise, you're going to be running into that house while it's on fire and not have a bucket of water to put it out. Please, as someone that does this and knows what they're talking about, I'm begging you, just make something first. Thank you. That's my only. I'm trying to help. But I know when you do, you'll be great. So I'm not really worried about it. Just push it. Just give it. So that's those guys. I did horrific. Okay. Ooh, I actually tried to write my thank yous out this time, just as a point of fact. Hold on. Run for Your Lives podcast. Yo, Daphne and Paik, I really appreciated your recent episode where you shit on that movie. I know that I'm always like saying you guys are never like negative. You were so hating that movie, and I really appreciated a different point of view from you guys. Just knowing that, hey, not every movie is actually made well, and we sometimes we give flowers where we can. However, when you fuck it up, you fucked it up big. And I don't think I might watch Final Girl as the movie, but I might not because I just, your guys' review lives rent free in my head now. And I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And I really hope you do come to TremorsFest. I would love to see you both. And I need Daphne to tell me how my podcast sucks. Okay, so look. I got a friend, Chris Jacobson, who's doing this podcast called Brews and Cruise. And I'm really trying to like it. I'm trying because he wants to be a podcaster and do it. We're going to be going to go make Justin's Tremor Shifting Sands script, and he's going to be in it. He really wants to be an actor and all that. And I'm really trying to, I hope Brews and Cruise does well. Like, that's my, I'm keep it up. I've been listening to what episodes I can't, because this is the thing. You'd think that like a show about drinking and then talking about cars would be interesting to someone, but like it's just not. I'm like, it just doesn't. I can't. Like I can't. And I think that's maybe me to see other people like the show. So that has nothing to do with me. Like as a point of fact, I don't really like listening to movie podcasts. That's where it's like I love you, Daphne and Paik. I always have to be selective about which ones I listen to, because it's just like I can just watch the movie instead. I don't need the extra review. You got to give me a little something on it. Give me a little spice. Yes, Brews and Cruise. And like I said, Chris is a great guy. Chris is a nice guy. I really do like him. I hope he does well. His podcast releases on every Monday. My only thing, I know he's never going to listen to this, although I do tell him this. I tell him this in the comments where I'm like, because he's so focused on like being Joe Rogan and being raw. He always says the word raw. And I'm like, no, awkward. You need to be awkward. Podcasts are awkward and weird. And like, you're not going to be like the cool kid on the block with the rawness and the tattoos, man. You got to be awkward and like into it, to the point where like one of my favorite segments on his episode was one of his guests who was talking about being a mom and talking about miscarrying and losing 3 of her children. And it was like, whew, Jesus, that was awesome and great. Holy shit. Awkward. It's not something you want to talk about, but it's there. It's real. It happens. And I appreciate it. That would be my it's a 30 Rock thing where they have a reality TV show thing. Jack is doing reality TV and he says, it can be good, it can be bad, it just can't be mediocre. Like that's any entertainment. It can be good and you're watching it because it's good and it's awesome, or it can be bad and you're watching it because it's a train wreck. It just can't be in the middle. And that's where like Chris's podcast gets to the middle sometimes. And I'm always just kind of like, be weirder about it, man. And again, I've said all that in comments. I don't think he takes my suggestions, though. I hope he does, because I'm going to have to see him when we're filming a movie, and I will have suggestions for him then. So, Chris Jacobson, Brews and Cruise, go check it out yourself. Again, I'm not the end-all be-all on that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to be wrong. Calling out Fermented Cinema, Ian Ayus. I have not been able to make his live shows, but that guy is so funny and I love him so much. I just had to like shout him out for realsy. Ian. Ooh, that's a good one. Hold on, I'm gonna come to that in a second there. Ian, Fermented Cinema. Just go subscribe and be his friend. I really do love him. And Chris has a point here. As a podcast expert myself with over 3 dedicated viewers, I think you do have to be authentic to yourself too, though, because people can tell if you're being fake. That's the true thing. And that's the thing about Chris is that I'm always like, he can be. I can tell he puts on that like, I'm a podcast host, so I gotta do these things specifically. And it's like, no, just get rid of that and be weird in the moment, man. Like that's what it is. Like the one thing I would always say, like it's funny, but lean into it, is that when you go and look, his podcast takes place in a fucking car garage. And I mean a very fancy upscale car garage. Kid's got money. And that's the background. It's just like glamour and elaborateness. And it's like, like push into that, oh my god, if that's Colton, is that Colton or Derek? Like, which one of you just said that? But Chris is just like, it's like, look, man, you can't have like that shine and then try to be a podcast at the same time. Like, there's some grime to it, or you like lean into that shine and like you go for that, but that's the middle ground again. Like, you can't like good or bad. Like, it has to be either or. Being in the middle is not. Oh, thank God. I was gonna say thank God. Because Derek said, Chris, I agree. There also isn't any soul if there is no passion. And I thought Colton said that. And I was gonna be like, holy shit, that 8-year-old is on point. And this is where Chris has a passion. And I commend him for that. Like, he really likes podcasting. And he likes talking to people and sitting down and just getting to know them and stuff. And that's where I listen. And I love listening and getting to know people with them and getting that experience. For me, it's just like, hey, I can tell, because he's always had that. He's a very like upscale person who likes being down in the dirt a little more. It's like, well, yeah, dig into that then, man. Like, take a bite of that fucking forbidden fruit apple and find out that thing that you don't want to know. But you gotta like drive and lean into it. That's what this show has become. This show used to be a lot of things, and it's always been fucking passionate from the beginning. But it's like, find out what like Levi, and I actually told Chris this because somebody told me like episode 4, Kevin Collins, and I'll always remember him for saying this, where he's like, I love your show, I love what you're doing, but you never talk about yourself, Levi. Like you're always talking about Tremors, and like, but for me, I want to know like why am I listening to you? Like, who are you that like I should care what your opinion is on Tremors? Like, give it to me. Like, what? Like, I try to be like neutral and like in essence of just like I do look at everything from both sides when it comes to Tremors. However, I have my own opinions on that, like as well. Tremors 7 pisses me off. I don't think Jamie Kennedy should have been in Tremors. Tremors 3 is the weak one. Like there are things here that like we can find out, but like who are you and why is someone listening to your show? That is such a great question to ask as a podcaster, and I hope he does. Like I said, I'm not trying to be too hard on Chris right now because he's just starting out. I think the reason I'm saying this is I can see a nugget of a fire there, and it's just like I'm blowing into it just to like, yeah, come on, you can do this. I know you can, and that makes sense, Derek. That both Derek and Lizzie are writers, so he's very articulate. I fully believe with the way he wrote that story out, Derek. I fully believe that he was saying like, yes, if there's no soul in the podcast, there's no passion. Yes, Father. Yes, I would like pancakes with my blankie. Mm-hmm. Can I watch the Elmo on the television? Yes, Elmo. Elmo is good. Thank you, Father. Yes. But yeah, I do. Like I said, I wish the best for him. I hope he takes my suggestion. This is stuff I said to him, so I really hope he does. Justin, if you end up listening back, fucking tell him this for me. Or I'll tell him when I see it. And Splattercast, these guys, Dylan and Luke, I got to get you on here. I'm so sorry. I've been through hell and back the last 2 months with improv and dance and TremorsFest. Like you guys are on my list and I need you in here. They're a great horror channel too. Those guys, and they don't just review movies too. They review everything about horror and I really love them. They're very like, I wouldn't say similar to Sledgehammer horror, but like I love that space that those guys occupy together. And I really do. I appreciate the hell out of Dylan and Luke. One of the first people to ever actually give me an interview for something. So I need to return that favor, just like I need to return the favor for Colin and Chris, just like I need to get Derek on here. Colton can come too if we want. Actually, you know what, Derek? I don't need you, just Colton. If I could just get Colton on, I promise not to swear when we're actually talking to each other, at least a little bit. I will tone it down to like a 7 instead of an 11. And then Cultivad, Christopher Dunham has been going through it lately, majorly depressed, but I love that guy. He's been streaming on Twitch because it's easier than doing the podcast. But I just want to shout him out, Christopher Dunham, Cultivad. Go listen because that's a great podcast for just talking about weird ass shit and just going all over the spectrum. That's my kind of podcast. Just like, what's the topic? There's no topic. What are we talking about? All of this fucking everywhere. And I do. I love you, Chris. I love you, Cultivad. Yeah. And this is, look, I haven't listened to this show, but I appreciate the hell out of these two people, Nicole and Tessa from the Doom Generation podcast, who are always liking posts about Tremors. And I just fucking love the shit out of you guys. I just had to say that. Thank you so much. And Chris said, I would love to come on your show and have you rip into my theories one by one. That would be super fun. Chris, as I've said, I'm not going to rip into your theories. At least most of them. Most of them are pretty good. I already pointed out that the one about the graboids, or that Proudfoot made the graboids, and then something about time travel sent him back to Tremors 4. Really dumb. And then the one about like how they ate cars and oil, and then that's why they fart fire. Like that one, like it's dumb, but I love how dumb it is. Like it's just like it's beautiful, like chef's kiss, beautiful. So fuck yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'm not gonna rip them apart. We'll probably come up with more theories like by the end of it. Your one about the ass blaster DNA in the plantimal is another one that I'm like, I can dispute charts all day long because you know what? I have notebooks. Do you have notebooks filled with information, Chris? Do you have pages upon 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 pages of information that you wrote down? Fuck your charts. Your charts are bullshit. I know what a chart is. It's what doctors use for things. I lost my place again. All right. So yeah, this has been. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Please go listen to all those shows that I said. And I'm gonna go through a long list of names here, but I want to thank each of these people. These are my people that I've been talking to for Tremors Fest, just so you can know, like, that I win the battle, but the war has yet to be decided. Well, I guess you'll just have to come on the show and find out, Chris. But I'm going to list some names here, and these are all people I want to thank. Todd Williams, Lisa Romanoff, Conrad Bachman, Aaron O'Brien, J.D. Walsh, Charlotte Stewart, Finn Carter, Alec Gillis, Greg Kierk, Paul Dutoit, Robert Jane, Gail Ann Hurd, Kevin Kuchaver, Linda Drake, Pokes Oligadorier, PJ Byrne, Mike Malone, Jeffrey Johnson, Carolyn Langrichet, Victor Brown, Don Michael Paul, Tom Woodruff Jr., Sam Lee, Matt Wilson, Susan Chuang, Jim Davidson, Marcelo Tubert, Dean Norris, Mikey Black, Iris Park. Wow. Jesus Christ. That's just the ones I had written down. Thank you guys. I hope some of you can make it to Tremors Fest. Thank you for letting me call you and message you and email you and do all sorts of things. It's been a blast. And hopefully, if you want, you can come on the show too. I know none of you are listening to this, but I'm speaking it to the universe. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everybody that's been in this chat that's not on TikTok. Thank you to Chris and Derek and Colton. Colton especially. Derek, you're great. Colton, you can come back anytime. And Ben Sward and William Cody. Actually, I want to say Williams. Ben Sward and Anthony Lafusi. And I'm going through here. Just give me a second. And Daphne. Oh, I forgot. I love you. Thank you for being here, Daphne. I love you and Paige so much. William, Derek, everybody, Ben. I think I hit everybody. Yep. Thank you guys so much. Like all the time. Thank you for showing up and being here and listening to me ramble about Tremors and have my crazy ideas about Tremors. It's a joy. I love doing this show for everybody because you guys need information. So please tell other people about this information or that there's a show. I do try to do this every week. I'm going to get better about doing that. I'm going to try. And then I want to thank William Cody, again, so much for showing up all the time, and Hunter Lurvy, who is one of the people that helped me out with the Tremors Fest thing. Thank you guys for supporting me and everything. Love you so much. And then I want to thank Zach Willie so much, wherever you are. If you're listening, I did send this to him. I always talk super late, so I hope he's listening somewhere. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a friend. And, I just got to say, so Zach and I had a conversation that I think is really important and pertinent to the rest of this discussion. That, because I was talking about Finn Carter and that I was going to dress up as Finn Carter for Tremors Fest. And so what I'm going to do is, because last year I did Steve Wilson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dress up as Ron Underwood dressing up as Finn Carter because he played her stunt double at the very end, like on one of the last days of shooting. So it's me like doing that extra layer of like, oh, see, I did Steve. Now I'm going to do the director. So then I'm doing like, I'm not doing an actual character. I'm doing the people that made it because that's funnier to me. And I said, I was like, yeah, I'll dress up as Finn. And Zach was like, oh, no, don't tell her. Like, that would be hilarious for her to just find out. And I was like, oh, no, I don't. Yeah, I would. I would just show up and do it. And then Zach dropped, he's like, so look, man, like, I got to ask you something. And, like, I don't know how to ask you this, but, like, we've been talking and I just got to, like, know. And I was like, oh, so you want to, like, talk about, like, me being transgender? And he was like, yeah, yeah, thanks, man. I like just take me through that. And so we ended up having a whole conversation about it. And he was like, I really have enjoyed talking to you because I'm going to be honest. If I met you on the street, I don't think that we would be friends. Like if Tremors didn't exist and I didn't know you from that, I don't think that we would be, you're not like just by external appearances, you're not someone that I would have sought out as a friend in that way or to like have a conversation with. And I feel like I would have really been diminishing myself by making that judgment. Um, and that whoever you are and whatever you want to be, like that's good for you. I'm glad to know you and now have another notch in my belt of like, hey, maybe like we don't judge people all the time. We don't judge by that physical appearance. Judge them by who they are. Take that information, and then that's your real nugget of information. Judge them by who they are. And he was just like, so I gotta like reevaluate some things. But I really appreciate the hell out of you. And I was like, I do too. I appreciate you too, man. And it's like, it's just interesting. And yes, that's great self-realization on on your friend's part. Uh, I think that we all do that. I don't know. You can never, you never know who you're going to be friends with till you start talking to them. Let your words speak louder than your physical appearance. But like that. That goes back to the whole man or bear in the woods. Let that. But it was really interesting for him to be like, yeah, I would not. Neither would my friends. Like none of us would. But like that would have been really sad if I hadn't. And I'm like, well, cool, thanks, man. I still would have been your friend, so I don't really, I don't get it that way. However, I appreciate the honesty of that. And it's interesting. But I appreciate Zach all the way so much. Thank you so much for everything we've been doing together and will do together. We are going to make this the best Tremors Fest yet, even though there's only ever been two. We're going to keep making it awesome, man. That's my goal. And to that end, I always like to thank Stampede Entertainment and Steve S.S. Wilson, and Brent Maddock, and Ron Underwood, and Nancy Roberts. Thank you guys for making this thing in the first place. Like there'd be no Tremors without you, and I think we'd all be a little bit sadder. Like, and I can't wait for you guys to come back and take the reins again. And I just gotta say Chris's stupid joke because it's funny. Chris, I'm always learning and always growing. Said my bathroom scale. Zing! Dad joke. Pop pop. Jesus Christ. Thank you. Great show as always. Thank you. I try my best, man. Try my very, very best. And yes, Stevie Entertainment, Michael Gross, all you guys. And then as always, I like to end with, thank you to my mom. Love you so much, Ma. Thank you for everything. Thank you to my dad, Pappy. His shoulder's not been great. I hope he takes it fucking easy. Please and thank you. Thank you to my sister and Eli, who are now expecting their 6th kid. which is a boy, even though we were all hoping for a girl. And since we're on this topic, I would love and still continue to make the joke of like, oh, you wanted a boy, but maybe you'll get a second gender reveal, 18 years from now. Trans joke. It's good. And Chris, I did see your comment about like don't show the kid the disappointment like when they're born or when they like realize, oh, I won't. I got 12 minutes of power left. Okay, cool. But yeah, thank you to Eli and Lacey. I love you guys so much. Thank you to my nephews, Shonday, Chantrell, Samaje, Shamar, Sahil, and Simon. I'm hoping Simon. That would be my, yeah. Love you guys so much. And again, happy belated birthday to Samaje. His birthday was April 21st. Fucking love that kid so much. Whoa, holy shit. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, just told me we only have 3 minutes left. Everything fine? Do you hear a noise? Tell me if you hear a noise. Sometimes when I plug it in, there's some noise. Love you. Like I said, love you, Samaje. You're my little buddy. You're my monster mash. He's the reason I do all this Tremor stuff because I never, ever want to show him Tremor 7 without there being a Tremors 8. And then early birthday to Shonday and Chantrell. Love you guys so much. I'm going to take him to the movies next weekend. And Shamar and Zahil, you just, whatever you guys are doing, I love you. Thank you to my wonderful wife, Caitlin Marie Burzloff, who tolerates them. Tolerates me. Why did I say them? I mean, she tolerates the boys. That's what I was thinking. Tolerates me, and even tolerated me freaking out today when I realized that Kevin Bacon was missing thing, and then having the emails and like, oh my God, I see the pieces. I'm a beautiful minding. It's all coming together. And actually, I feel like Charlie and it's always Peppy Sylvia, it just keeps coming up over and over and over again. There is no Kevin Bacon in Tremors. Mac, this whole building is a ghost town. But I was. Barney tipped me off on it. What? Yeah, Barney. Day bow bow. I'm sorry. I love laughing at my own jokes. God damn, that's stupid and funny. But thank you, Caitlin, for dealing with my Charlie-ness. I will get that pilot. I will. I'll get Kevin and Michael in the same room to hug. And then Stampede Entertainment will make a new Tremors TV show with those two as the stars. And that's, you heard it here first on the Talking Tremors podcast. Your home for all things Tremors. What the fuck is this voice doing? I'm Yosemite Simpsons. God damn it, man. But yeah, I love you, babe. I love you, babe. She's sleeping. I'm really proud of this episode. I know that seems stupid, but I am. Okay, shut the fuck up. Okay, everything's yelling at me now, so I need to shut down. Oh, William, again, you'll like the beginning. William, good night, man. Love you too. I hope you like the beginning. And Chris, I'm like a horny flight attendant. I want that pilot. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'll do my best, guys. That's doing what I can with what I got. And I gotta end it. I gotta end it with that song because I just love it so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I've appreciated you. I hope your lives are good. I'll see you the next time. And if you have to run for your lives. Because we're talking those Tremors. Talking those tremors, yeah, we're talking those tremors, talking those tremors, best friends.